What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 19 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Thorgrim Grudgebearer Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we have wiped out Queek Headtaker at last at the gates of Nagashazar, and in doing so completed our first legendary grudge. Karak 8 Peaks is finally now complete, though the 8 Peaks themselves were taken a long time ago. You had to wipe out Queek so that I guess he could not threaten it anymore. So I guess makes sense. Nice to get at least one of them out of the way, and we should be able to complete the, well, at the very least, retake the realms part 1 and 2 with decent ease as we continue taking the territories that are needed for the completion of those great grudges. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this time around, I guess it's a new turn, so there's a lot to do, a lot of places to advance, a lot of battles to fight, a lot of good fun times to be had, so let's get to it. Eligard does want to attack Mr. Bladub here, but I guess we can start from the top because I always regret not doing so. Let's start with Thorgrim then. Thorgrim, you are moving towards Nagashazar. I doubt that anybody will dare to attack you, but who knows? There might be something good over there. And yeah, we can keep collecting the income here, hardly matters. Joseph of Zorn, you, I believe, are going to besiege the fortress of Vorag, or possibly attack it. What do we have here? Ooh, whoa, hello. I think we've got ourselves a proper fight available. We're not going to attack this. We are going to let them not so much sally out, but we're going to let them attack Joseph of Zorn's army with these guys as well. Now that should be pretty darn fun. Yes, definitely going to take advantage of and do that. What we do, however... We'll take this at tier 4. Should we? No, that doesn't matter. I was gonna say, should we take it last so that we can immediately upgrade to tier 5, but I suppose we can still do so by taking all the other territories. The unfortunate aspect of this is the fact that our runesmith was wounded last episode, and thus this army is without runesmith, without the additional, I don't know, armor or weapons damage that he provides, and obviously all of those supporting casts. But nonetheless, Joseph of Zorn has not disappointed us really ever, and I don't think he's gonna start now. So let's buff everything up as needed. I guess we'll max out Axe Lord for the limited amount of miners and, more importantly, the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass that we have in here. Engineers, you have both reached rank 20, which will be good for this because we can pop both of you into buffing the flame cannons. 12% reload time reduction and more ammunition, both quite nice. Reload and flame cannon reload. And I guess you'll both also get Grudge Thrower Mastery. Even though you got the one, it has been quite useful over the course of the campaign. Thane, you... I guess you can start moving through. We are the elite. This army doesn't really engage in too much melee fighting, but it does on occasion. We saw that great fight against the Greenskins last episode, so why not? Anyway, Rearguard Half Hand, you are good for now. Ulfar Norgrimling, you are supposed to move out here once we declare war on these guys, so I guess you're sitting pretty, at least for now. Grimly Quarrel Seeker, you are moving towards the Steel Fist Reavers because the game can never let you go where you were originally slated to go. Oh, that's alright. Just keep on moving, sir. And by moving into the Cockatrice Hunting Grounds, you'll be able to get your 4th and final Longbeard. Presumably 4th and final, if we don't end up getting any more. Like so, there we go. Look at all those grudge settlers in Grimly's army. He's good at that sort of thing, so he deserves to have a lot of grudge settler units. Now, after Grimly, we've got, who's Braunhammer Fist? Oh, right, you. Now, I was thinking that we actually wanted maybe start, well, you know what, here's what we'll do. We should have, yes, another Rearguard Lord available, 5k to summon you, but it is what it is. This guy's going to become an actual Lord eventually, but what we also want to do is start recruiting various things. Firstly, the Everguard with shields and non-shields. These guys are going to be distributed to various armies, and they take a long time to build. Oh, huh. Although, if we, you know what, maybe hold off on that. We can also... globally recruit them fairly quickly, but we did want to get an Explosions army up and running, so... It's actually a lot faster to build via global recruitment now than it is via local, but we have to use the global recruitment to recruit in other places right now, I think, unless I'm mistaken, so I guess we're gonna start like this. Take the 3 turns, I guess, unless we can increase the amount of global recruitment available. But anyway, I still want to do the Explosion Army, and we gotta get started on the Ironbreakers. And by doing that, might as well get Mason as well, though frankly, I'm not sure that you need it anymore, at least in our main territory. Everything's free now, in Karaz-a-Karak, I mean. Go with the Purebeard and an Iron Will. Can't get Inquiring Mind, unfortunately, as you don't have enough levels, but maybe eventually. Inspirational Leader, I guess. Inspire those troops as you recruit them. Anyway, that was Braun Hammerfist, technically, so let's move on. Gromby, you are going to take revenge on Einar Sigdanson, so you're going to go to Grung Drekaz. And then proceed northward as well. We'll see how this guy reacts to it, because more than likely, he'll probably run. He's not going to face off against Grumbrindle. I think he'd be too scared to do so. Oh, actually, speaking of Grumbrindle, you, Dimzad Blackbeard, move into Grung Stekbrud, and I would like you... It's probably going to take quite the while to just train these Longbeards up into Ironbreakers. We've had plenty of fights with Gromby using them, and I think I just want to recruit the Longbeards, the Ironbreakers, rather, the old-fashioned way. They are stupidly expensive to recruit via global recruitment, but it is what it is. We have the cash to be able to do it right now, and I think I'd rather do it. Oh, Gromby will also need at least 1 unit of engineers, I think. I was going to replace one of these Iron Drakes with the Grudge Settler Iron Drakes eventually, and then the other with a unit of Trollhammer Engineers. Not that it's a super necessity, I'll think about it. He's also doing fine just the way he is. Rearguard Helldower, you're good. Finn Arcandreskelson, oh right, this extremely irritating phenomenon where these guys got confederated just after we destroyed their settlement. Or destroyed the army that sallied out. Rather, Balthazar Gelt will join your war against the Bloody Hands, and you will give us all the money. Not that we need the 2,000 gold at this point, but well, it's better than nothing. And we're Dowie. I mean, it kind of had to be done. Anyway, now you're gonna besiege Grad Tomin all over again. That's actually pretty solid. We got Savage Giants, we've got Trolls, and yeah, some good stuff here. Alright, I guess the nature of the garrison changes because it's a different type of faction, isn't it? Because there's a Savage Orc faction. Interesting. Anyway, let's level these guys up before we fight because, well, we'll fight when we end the turn, but we'll fight eventually. Got a point on so far, 42 pounders, I guess. This army hasn't really had the chance to show off as yet, but it's going to get to do so soon. We don't really need We Are the Elite here because we can't really take advantage of it yet, so we can hold off on it for now. I guess let's get training and start moving through it, because these guys will need the additional XP. Arun Smith. This army has one. Let's get your Rune of Hearth and Home to reduce or to increase the charge resistance and vigor loss reduction in an aura around you. Alright, so that was Finn Arcandreskelson, ready for a fight shortly. Thorik Armbrow. You, I believe, this should be... it's probably auto-resolvable, it's kind of weak. Alright, move on in, and close victory. Well, let's hope that it doesn't crash. And occupy. And it will crash. But what can you do? Alright. Alright, having gotten to the habit of quick saving for this particular campaign due to the inherent instability for the Dwarfs, I guess, in particular, as paid dividends in these later episodes where I don't have to replay certain portions. Still annoying, but not as annoying. Anyway, we will go immediately, I guess, into... Ooh, we need anti-corruption here, don't we? Well, that is gonna have to be Venerate the Ancestors. Get rid of the Dwarf Tinkerer's Shop. We can immediately upgrade the Dwarf Keep for free. Oh, we're so close to the next tier, but oh well. And then we can... And this gives us corruption reduction and control. Yeah, I guess we'll start with the Makazungor. It's still intended to be a military province, but with the Slaneshi nearby and causing us problems, we can't really do anything about it. We also need to push northward towards Kairos, who actually has a fair few territories, 7. Plus he's, I assume, allied with these orcs? Yeah, he's allied with these orcs, so we'll need to kind of deal with both of them at once before looping back around to the Slaneshi, though I am interested to see how our fight against these guys goes, because, well, they don't quite counter Thorak's army, they, you know, kind of counter Thorak's army, so that would be interesting. Anyway, that was Thorak. Let's see who's next in the list, shall we? After Thorak, we've got Guthrie Holdfast, who is not going to be holding fast. We have Bok the Lethal right there, and he's in March stance, and he's worth 4.8k grudges. I don't know that there's anybody that might kill him off or something, but I don't think we can let this amount of grudges go. It's a ridiculous amount of grudges. It would be, I mean, in our previous age of reckoning, this would have been worth 1/4 of the entire age with one guy. The current age is not worth anywhere near as much because, you know, 4.8k out of 85k, but it's still worth way more than, you know, several settlements and stuff, and we gotta do it. Fortunately for us, he's in March stance, and this is why we want to take advantage of it. So, to do so, Guthrie Holdfast, we are... You know what we'll do? I was going to say we could give you the Grudge Settler Iron Drakes, but we'll give you the Flame Cannons instead, because I was going to transfer these to Mr. King Azrael anyway, rather than the Iron Drakes, and we'll see how that goes. The Rune Lord will level up. He's got the Rune of Wrath and Ruin. I want to max it out for our guys here. It's not like, well, we could get Tactician. Increase the power of the units a little bit. Ancestral Grudge will give us power in fighting Greenskins, but apparently we don't care about fighting Skaven. Or rather than do anything about this, 20% cooldown reduction versus 15% cooldown reduction, eh? I'm gonna say Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Wait, does Bekbok the Lethal have a caster with him? He does not. Okay, so we don't have to worry about magic, so we don't need damping. A Rune of Wrath and Ruin for you then. Into, I guess, Runic Imbuement to be a little bit stronger. Anything else here matter for this particular battle? Obdurate doesn't really help, Lord of the Deeps might if we were to fight something in a subterranean battle, and we could get extra leadership in fighting Skaven as well. But generally speaking, it's not a particularly good trait. I'm gonna just say Runic Imbuement in case we need to fight Bok. We do have 2 more Runesmiths as well, so we'll get Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and Rune of Oath and Steel, and then Forge Fire for you. Most likely these guys will be eventually deleted, but for now they will still be useful to us. And then you have Rune of Wrath and Ruin. We'll go for, let's say, another point in Rune of Wrath and Ruin, maybe. And then Oath and Steel, and then Forge Fire. There we go. Everybody's got Forge Fire, a little bit of that armor reduction. It's not much of an army, but we have our artillery, and this guy is in proximity to Oakenhammer, which was the main thing, and the reason why we kept the military structures here, rather than deleting them. So, Bok the Lethal, you're currently at war with Wargrove of Woe, who we will ask to join the war against you, like so. And then we're going to attack you and take advantage of the fact that you're in March stance. Skaven passing through our territory can't be countenanced anyway. Go for Bok. Let's see how lethal he is. I don't think so. Decisive victory, casualties low, and we do have the settlement garrison moving in, which is going to, well, actually probably didn't need the flame cannons, but we had to get him on the field anyway. Anyway, we are still going to fight this, I think. That's a relatively minor battle, but this settlement garrison has to arrive as a reinforcement, so I think it should still be a pretty fun one. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Should be a pretty fun fight, mostly because we have to wait the 2 minutes until our reinforcements get here, and, well, they're going to be rather slow, so we'll have to wait for them to reinforce the main line. As to whether the enemy charges us, remains to be seen. Thus, we have deployed in such a way where we are hidden entirely from the enemy artillery pieces, as you can use the hills to hide. We can see on the map the sort of dark territory, and the enemy can't see us, and we technically can't see them, which is why we sent our Lord Guthrie Holdfast here to sort of suss them out. And it looks like he's going to take a few hits from the enemy Plague Claws, but obviously that's not going to be a major threat, and it looks like the enemy doesn't want to chase him. That's fine. We're going to take the opportunity to move the reinforcing army in and then get everybody together before we start fighting the main enemy host. The 2 units of Plague Claws are obviously going to be the biggest threat here. Oh, huh, they got a sort of... wait. I was to say they got a sort of blue and orange color scheme, but I guess it's more of the Plague Monk's robes, maybe? No, they do have a blue and orange color scheme. Huh. That's kind of neat. That's kind of an unexpected color scheme, but probably could have guessed that from their banner and icon colors and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, enemy keeps milling around while we keep milling around ourselves and move into position, getting the first of our artillery fire out, mostly because this is the only enemies that we can reach, but might as well soften up a few of the enemy targets before they start moving towards us, and since our second army is here, we are free to actually fire on the enemy without being so worried about preemptive reprisal and a preemptive attack from the main enemy host. Alright, Buck, getting ready to move towards us. Really appreciate that 5,000 grudges that you're holding. Curious as to why the game values this guy specifically so dang high. Gotta double check. I mean, I guess it was probably actions against other dwarven factions, mostly probably because he was fighting Zufbar for as long as Zufbar was alive, before they were destroyed and confederated, I take it. They were confederated by Ungrim, unless I'm mistaken, at some point in time, but anyway. Here come the enemy army, and the Plague Claw catapults, which are getting closer and closer and drawing into range. We can still get a fair few shots out on the enemy blobs, though. And gotta take advantage of all that shrapnel munition that we've got going on our artillery pieces, who admittedly have gone through about 30% of their ammo, or at least the one that we started with, but managed to rack up 360 kills and 34,000 damage, which is pretty darn solid. I'm gonna get a few more shots off, but now it's time to probably switch towards the enemy artillery pieces, which are getting into position, and will begin firing upon us. And there we go. And it looks like both of them will do so. Alright, it is taking quite the while for the enemy to actually move up towards us. I think what's happening here is that they might be trying to maintain pace with the artillery pieces. The AI does have essentially a habit of maintaining a pace with the slowest units of its army. Usually this ignores artillery, but I think because the enemy AI couldn't see us over those hills, that meant that the AI would want to advance together with the artillery, which is kind of interesting. You could probably abuse that behavior to some degree if you were inclined to. Interesting. Anyway, Plague Claw Catapult, first Plague Claw Catapult set, I should say, down to half HP and 6 out of 8 of its units, and we're just going to keep on firing upon it. Our reinforcing army has also brought a second Grudge Thrower, so we can technically target both. Though the enemy is firing back at us, one of the crew just went down. Still haven't really sighted the main enemy army as yet. As in, they haven't really crusted the hill where we can attack them with most of our main units. Aha, there's the first one. I guess I spoke too soon. Looks like some of the enemy warp grinders are giving chase to our lord, who was scouting the rest of the enemy army for us. And he certainly pulled that off. We did a lot of damage with those Grudge Throwers before the enemy army even caught sight of us, and we got a nice 95 kills and 13,000 damage off a single use of the Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Bok the Lethal has arrived. Unfortunately for him, he is going to tower over over Gautry Holdfast on that Brood Horror, and that seems like a bad idea, because all of our units can, well, fire at him. And it looks like he is significantly damaged and is broken now, though of course the Brute Horror has regeneration, so it'll recover to some degree. The enemy army is finally moving towards us after a fairly long time. Let's see if they actually manage to reach our lines here. They really should have tried to charge us before our reinforcements arrived. I feel like there are situations where the AI is willing to do that, regardless of the fact that it's on the defensive. But this wasn't the situation here. Anyway, lots and lots of gunnery units in this particular army. Firing away at the ratties as they attempt their approach. And I guess in terms of the various different sort of generalist armies that we're going to build, the ones that are going to sort of spread out in various directions, we'll probably make them, gotta have like a sort of formula for building them. You know, we don't want to pull a Belagar, an AI Belagar, essentially, where the AI distributed all of its points entirely to his red line and got every single part of the red line for him, which was an absolute waste. I gotta pick like 3 sets of units And thus 3 sets of red line buffs to focus on rather than wasting another 9 points of, well, skill points. Anyway, enemy army, in the meantime, having a pretty bad time of it, and, well, a couple of storm vermin did manage to reach our line, both with halberds, interestingly, rather than the sword and board, although I don't know whether they had sword and board variants here. While they did manage to reach our line, they did not reach it in particularly good shape and don't stick around for all that long either. The rest of the enemy army has been destroyed, the artillery has won the shootout, and now the last of the enemy army will back off. Bok the lethal on his brood core is not going to get caught with the massive amount of speed that he has. 85, eh? I wonder if Fast Thorgrim would be able to chase him down because he has Strider, but can also debuff the enemy to force him to lose a little bit of speed. I'm sure we'll encounter a brood horror with Thorgrim before long, so we'll have the opportunity to test it out. Hey, and we stole his best item, the Talisman of Preservation. Fantastic. It's definitely the one we wanted out of those. Otherwise, a decent little fight. Most acceptable. Thank you for the item, Mr. the Lethal, and thank you for all those grudges settled. We are going to, I guess, take the money here. And this army is destroyed. Ooh, I thought it was going to crash, but we're okay. I assume we did get the, I didn't check what the amount is. Yeah, we did. Okay, we were at 25 or 20-something, and we're now 30-something, so we got what we wanted. Skaven Denial, how dare you? How dare you? Let's see. That shouldn't even be possible for dwarfs. We also have another little army, but it's of Skaven saves, and frankly, I think you should probably be able to auto-resolve this, so we'll move on and kill that army. And quick save it again, because it can't be trusted game. And auto-resolve. Oh, we know what would happen against the giant pile of Skaven slaves, I think. At least Bok had some elites with him. And I can drink to victory. Alright. Lovely. And back to Oakenhammer ye shall go, and you'll be holding fast a little bit longer. Though, admittedly, not too much longer. Alrighty, let's select Mr. Gautry. Who is after you in the order here? Alright, that was Gautry Holdfast, Malachi McKayson. You, sir, are going after Sarthoriel, and will continue to do so, and okay, wait. Is this guy gonna grab this? Ooh, actually, if you grab this, we can transfer Fort Skehold. You are going to jump here as far as you can. I assume Sarthoriel will back away to Fort Stroghoff, but that probably won't matter over much. Alrighty, that's good. Also, did I ever get you your second engineer? I did not, because I was wondering whether we can actually fit one in. We should, because we get a lot more mileage out of an engineer in this army than the Thane. And like as I do Traumac, the only benefit it would be is if we put engineers in Malachi's army. And I do once again like the idea. I just kind of don't like the idea of removing too many of the Slayer pirates from his army, so I'll have to think about it. Though I suppose removing 2 would allow us to put an engineer and a master engineer in, and... Or... removing 2 would allow us... And the Thane would, like, I'll think about it. I just think he should have some Dwarfen engineers. Anyway. Rearguard Barak, your rearguard. Callan Heldower, you are still waiting with mostly just this one unit of Quarrelers. Though now that we're at war with these guys, should you perhaps try to defend Karaz-a-Karak or Gantuk? Probably not worth it. If there's a full stack that attacks this, I wouldn't want to lose the Grudge Settler Quarrelers. We just don't have enough of them, so it's more important than the settlement at this time. Let's see. Almador Red Axe. Okay, you and Ungrim are supposed to travel towards Zufbar, and that hasn't changed, so you're going to go to Zufbar like so, and you're going to occupy it. And it better not crash, and I also shouldn't have said anything, and quick save, and we should probably move the other guy in as a reinforcement. Alright, so we'll do this. Clan Ferric revealed. Really? It's all Zufbar. Zufbar is only worth 208 grudges. It's kind of an important settlement, but okay, game. Okay. Just jump here, please. And transfer the Everguard with shields to Mr. Ungrim and replace, I guess, one of these Slayer units. Like so. Alright, Ungrim now has an Everguard unit, which I really like. They can advance and be his sort of armored guard as well. Armored and shielded, mind you, but they're not here to die. They're here for kingly reasons. Let's go with that. That's my story and I'm sticking with it, or to it. You guys, if we evolve you right now, you know what? I'm not gonna risk it because what if we evolve them and they lose all their HP? Let's just occupy this and quick save it again. And ooh, we can put the Razor Standard on these guys. They already have magical damage, so if we can get a Lichbone Pennant, I'd rather put it on one of the non-Doomseeker Slayer units. Anyway, auto resolve. Very minimal damage, huh? One of the Malevolent Dryads died. I'm sorry, Akka. Well, I mean, I guess we might technically get into a war with you, but nonetheless, occupy, and hey, it didn't crash. Beautiful. Alright, now we just need to send you down here so that we can move Mr. Ulfar Norgrimling and transfer Sunny Boy to you. It's been a long time coming. Actually, not that long anyway, but anyway. Let's see who's up next after. That was Elmador, technically. We moved Ungrim with him, but Elmador in the order. King Azrael has moved. Morgus Death Dealer. Ah, yes. Mr. Morgus. There's actually several things I want to do with you. Actually, wait, before I forget. Rurik Whitebeard. Huh. Why are you guys tier 3? Wait, can we just... Let's do this. Build Dwarf Warriors instead. You should probably build a few more things. Oh, we're not using out all of the global recruitment, so we could build another 2.3k, eh? We have the money. Yeah, fine, build it. Build it and then build more miners. Most likely these guys will attack us next turn, but just in case they don't, why allow them to do so? Now, Morgus. Okay. We actually have to figure out how we want to deal with you, because we will want you to have a sort of generalist type of army. Let's do 3 shielded Longbeards. Like so. You can be a Longbeard with great weapons. That's our main line. Technically, it's actually not enough melee units, but I guess we can keep the miners with blasting charges in it. I take it that Axe Lord is... Yeah, it does benefit miners as well. Next up, we will want some artillery pieces. Dwarf Warriors can evolve into pretty much anything, and... Oh, you actually need to be higher ranks to evolve into some of those artillery pieces. Alright, fair enough. Let's start with a couple of Grudge Throwers in here for you. Like so. You... yeah, let's do 2 Troll Hammers, and then 1 Flamethrower unit. Like so. Maybe a couple of the Thunderers as well. Can you evolve into Thunderers or only Quarrelers? Oh, you can directly evolve into Quarrelers, so I guess we'll evolve you into Quarrelers then. And then the Quarrelers into the Thunderers, or we should probably actually have some Quarrelers in here as well. You guys can transform into Dwarf Warriors, because we don't need the Miners. And frankly, we should remove a couple of the units in here and get some heroes going, but anyway. Presumably we'll want, let's say 2 Thunderers, 2 Quarrelers, at least for now. I guess for now you all have to evolve into Quarrelers. Let's do the, I don't know, great weapons for now, it doesn't matter. And then you have to be rank 4 to become a Thunderer, so that should be pretty quick. We have 3 Dwarf Warriors remaining, which can either become anything else. I think we do at least want a couple more artillery pieces. I'm going to say maybe 2 cannons and 2 Grudge Throwers. I take it you guys can't evolve to them directly yet, though, so we'll just have to keep you as you are. Alrighty. And then, oh, actually probably 1, because we'll need heroes in this army, unless we want to get rid of the minus with blasting charges. But anyway. For now, that's good. Nice little sort of generalist force, and just gotta spread out a few more units once these guys get trained up or continue getting trained up. Let's get you Invoke Runes of Gluttony for the physical resistance and armor. Let's also go Root Marcher, Rune of Speed, Inspiring Presence, obviously Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and Rune of Oath and Steel. We are definitely going to make some good use of Axe Lord, and most likely some decent use out of Thunderer. Frankly, the issue with using too many different unit types is that you got to spread your different red lines a little bit too thin. I'm gonna say maybe Thunderer. And we could evolve a couple of the Miners into a couple of Rangers just to have some sort of, maybe. Yeah, alright, let's do 3 points into Thunderer then. Alright, we got 1 more point into Rally, mostly just want to get into Stand Your Ground ASAP. Anyway, Morgus, you should be able to take the Horn with decent ease. And I gotta remember, okay, Morgus Death Dealer, gotta remember the order, all about the order. Quick save, and... this should definitely be auto-resolvable. And it looks like the southern portion of the Mountains of Morn are mostly ours. Ooh, I noticed that the miners with blasting charges are the only units that got hurt significantly. So it seems like the AI likes to send them, the auto-resolve AI likes to send them into combat, which means it's probably a decent idea to actually remove them from this army or replace them with Longbeards or something, because the generalist armies will be doing a little bit more auto-resolve than their, you know, themed armies. Well, not all the generalist armies, mind you, but certainly some of them. Alright, don't collect the, well actually, yeah, you can collect the income here. We will not upgrade you right now because we might be able to, depending on whether this can be upgraded to tier 5, upgrade you as well. Anyway, Morgus, you're fine as you are for now. Let's try to find you in the list here. And keep on moving. There you are. Alright, Stochel Gundrickson. Alright, you were going to attack Alimenta. Oh, right. Okay, wait. Before moving you, Kazaran Grimbrow, you were going to take Karaz-a-Karak. We'll not resolve this as well because we already did the actual fight last episode. It just didn't kill off every single unit after they sallied out. Auto-resolve, once again, damage to the miners, though some to the Dwarf Warriors as well. And after we occupy this, it should be occupiable at tier 5, meaning we can immediately upgrade. Fantastic. Alright, and we can immediately put you into High King's Tribute. We will also... Ooh, this is one of the rare occasions we actually get a trade good in a capital. They're usually not in capitals, but minor settlements, so that certainly works out nicely for us. We'll want to build a Goral Mine, and these will be replaced, but only after this location is a lot safer than it currently is. You will... Well, we're actually going into mountainous territory again, so we'll probably get more mileage out of a Mecha Zungor here, and besides, the fact that we need a ton of Oath Gold hasn't changed. We're currently generating 356 per turn from buildings, but considering that's basically one item, and not even the highest tier of item, which I believe costs 500, from the Oath Gold store, from the Forge, so we'll need more is what I'm getting at. You can, I guess, build another mine. Frankly, we want the Tinker's Dens everywhere, but start with the mine. We'll see about other stuff after. It is nice to get new tier 5 territories, though. It's really helping out. Stochel. I think it's not time for you to attack yet, but we do gotta pay attention to it. Brock Ironpick, you have a pretty nice army, and we'll actually, you know, use it as a proper force, but for now, you can move into Carrick Norn. Might as well wipe this faction out before we turn towards clan... whatever that other clan was. Hold off for a second. I'm going to assume that the fact that this little army in Kazid Grimaz is not going to be sitting in Kazid Grimaz itself. It means that there's another full stack most likely sitting here. So there's 2 full stacks here. Granted, this faction is pretty weak. It's not a main faction and all that, so it's not a huge deal. Fortunately, we can't move you in to reinforce as yet, but we might be able to. I think maybe we can risk besieging the place and see if these guys want to hit us in the field. I'm a little bit too wary of auto-resolving this, and obviously we could manually fight it and attack them. Maybe we should. It's a lot of Skaven slaves, but they're just Skaven slaves. It's mostly the game not wanting us to... not allowing the auto-resolve to... provide it without taking too much damage. You know what? I'll think about it. Let's move along, and then we'll see what we have left in terms of this particular turn. So that was Brock Ironpick, who I'm going to assume that I selected without going out of order. Which I kind of did, but also kind of didn't. Oldest, you're still stuck where you are, buddy. Kadri Asgal, yes, you are proceeding to Karak Asgal. Oh, you are the most appropriately named guy to besiege this place. Yes, oh, there's a full stack there. Well, I don't think you can take it by yourself then. We'll need the gunnery army to help you out. Fair enough. Fair enough. A Skelly Redbeard. I don't remember who you are. Oh, right, you're supposed to go into this army, so you're just going to wait, and Brock Ironpick. And Oldest Helheim, you were the last guys other than Belagar. Belagar, you have a fight. Do we need to level you 2 points? We can level you with 2 points. I guess we're gonna go Tactician. You do use the Bolt Throwers after all. I'm still on the fence about Axe Lord and whether we should use the Miners or just replace them. I still do think that we should probably replace the Ironbreakers at least with a unit of Everguard. I think they'll look nice with Mr. Belagar, but for now, let's go for Tactician. power up those bolt throwers even further, and I guess we'll level your ghost pals as well. All right, so you got training. We want to get ancestral might, mostly just to move towards the revered Thane. The other stuff is good, but it's not super critical or anything like that. Let's get you unfaltering to buff up Mr. Belagar. You... we don't have hardened armor, sharpened weapons, or scouting. I'm inclined to say hardened armor is the best choice because it makes the Bugman's Rangers tankier and allows them to fight in melee. Granted, sharpened weapons essentially double dips by increasing their weapon melee and missile strength. But nonetheless, I'm gonna say, on the other hand, if this army is mostly a ranged army, you know, I'm gonna wait. I haven't decided yet. Let's make sure, however, that we get you. You have a base version of Rune of Oath and Steel, so let's start with a Ward Breaker to reduce enemy missile resistance. Master Engineer, you don't have ballistics calibration, or you didn't. You do now. And then the Thane, you are the Thane that doesn't have a lot of points applied. Let's get you training. Oh. Huh, wait, what do you have again? You have a Wanderer, oh, to give snipe to the Bugman's Rangers, yeah, that makes sense. And what about you? Then, if we do get a Everguard unit, we can get you Keeper of the Gate. If we don't, then we should get you Ironbeard to get even more ammunition for the Iron Drakes and Miners. And by virtue of the fact that I don't know which we're going to do as yet, let's just get you, I guess, Rune of Grimnir. Alright, Belagar, fight this. And then we'll move to Iron Rock, which is another nice little landmark. March stance, these guys have a caster, they have a Night Goblin Big Boss, and 2 Goblin Big Bosses. Wait, there's a Night Goblin Big Boss and Goblin Big Bosses? I don't even remember that. Huh, go figure. It's been a while since I played Greenskins. Anyway, close victory, medium casualties. I think it'll be a pretty fun fight, and it'll be a little bit of field action, as Belagar's debut battle was in a settlement. Go. Alrighty, here we go, Belagar in action once more, and, well, it is a night map. It is a relatively bright one in that we can, by and large, see everything, so, should be pretty okay. And Belagar and the rest of the force will not be Vanguard deployed, or at least the aspects of it that can Vanguard deploy, will not be Vanguard deployed towards the enemy, because they've got a lot of these pump wagons and things, and considering the fact that we have bolt throwers, this is probably the time to take advantage of that, and knock those enemy pump wagons out. I see that they've got some Flappas over here. They're not going to be nearly as threatening as spiky rollers, and it looks like Flappas and 2 regular units of pump wagons, probably meaning the AI didn't have in this particular territory, or in the particular territory where this army was built, the building that would allow them to build spiky rollers. I've generally found that the AI always focuses spiky rollers when it can, which is the smart move, because the other variants are terrible by comparison. Not bad, just not nearly as strong. Not that it would have mattered, because at this distance, the bolt throwers are having a pretty good time. One unit is breaking and down to half of its number, and the other is in pretty bad shape as well. And the enemy still has to approach us, and at least the slower infantry elements of their army are going to keep them very slowly moving towards us while we keep plunking away at them with our bolt throwers. And the bolt throwers don't just have to sit there and target those pump wagons either. As soon as we're done, we can switch to other critical targets, like all of these single entities that the enemy has. They've got trolls. They do have a bolt thrower of their own as well, though I think that our own bolt throwers aren't going to be particularly good in an artillery shootout. Best to use a cannon for that sort of thing rather than a bolt thrower. So yeah, we can see them landing a lot of shots, but only so far. And this is all 3 of them attacking this thing at once, but so far only having knocked out 2 of the enemy artillery pieces. It looks like they seem to be targeting the crew far too much. We've seen how the Grudge Settler gyrocopter pretty much always targets the artillery piece and ignores the crew. This seems to be kind of the opposite. Cannons seem to target the artillery piece as well. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but it does seem like there is some difference in the way that they function. Either way, enemies starting to move towards us now, getting closer and closer to those rangers, which, once again, you gotta love those red cloaks on the Bugman's rangers. A bit of a shame that we put the Ulthar's Raiders Rangers in the other army, but I think they're needed to act as an anchoring or linchpin sort of the line of the Axe Storm army. They work really well there, and admittedly they would never get the chance to shine nearly as much in Belgar's army as they do in the Axe Storm army, all things considered, as that army is short range and this army is pretty long range. Mid to long range, let's say. Not as long as many other armies, but still pretty long. Anyway, it's also Slaneshi Giggle. Anyway, the enemy army is still on the approach and doing a little bit of damage to the enemy trolls now. Very slow-moving little sets of orc biggins and black orcs are probably keeping the rest of the enemy army only slowly approaching. Goblins or night goblins have arrived to get a little bit of a range shootout, but I don't think they're going to win against Bugman's Rangers at all, and the damage that they do manage to dish out will probably get them, or will probably get healed over due to liquid fortification. Alright, it looks like a unit of Orc Boar Boy Biggins has attempted to loop around us. We're going to countercharge them preemptively with King Lun. And this is one of the first King Luns, probably not the first King Luns, but definitely one of the first. We've got a few hundred others, but, well, this is one of the originals. And he can keep them back while we fire upon them with our miners, the blasting charges, and a unit of rangers. Smartly, however, the enemy does move in a unit of squigs to rear charge those miners, which I'm sure will start doling out decent damage to them, so we're going to preemptively pop that entrenchment on them and give them that massive physical resistance so that they don't get killed. Now, Black Orcs moving forward, and they have been severely damaged on the approach, but probably aren't going to take a crazy amount of damage from the blasting charges due to their resistances and heavy armor. The enemy lord has arrived and is attempting to go after Belagar, even with the help of the goblin big boss. However, this is not going to go well for him. Belagar's got pretty darn solid stats, especially when all of his buffs have been dropped. 173 melee attack due to a combination of Revenge Incarnate, Patriarch, and a Master Rune of Speed. Yeah, I don't think the 31 melee defense is going to do anything for you here, but... And Belgar is probably perfectly happy taking on both of the enemy war boss and the goblin big boss. He's also super tanky as well. He's just slow compared to fast Thorgrim, but, well, pretty much nearly every dwarf is. I guess every single dwarf other than the white dwarf Grimbrindle is. Anyway, with that, it looks like the war boss breaks, and with the war boss, the entire rest of the army breaks. Maybe a little bit earlier than I was expecting, as a few of their units still had enough HP, but it looks like not quite enough there. Anyway, one of the Ghost Thanes chases down the enemy big boss, and the enemy lord will run, but we're not gonna let him. Are we gonna let him? Okay, maybe we are gonna let him. Oh, a little bit too late, I guess. Okay, I wanted to focus him down with some of our range units, but oh well. Not a big deal, not that it really matters over much. Battle's ours either way. Oh, there it is. Okay, I was just looking a little bit too late. It happened. He got brought down by those bolters. Had to give him, had to lull him into a false sense of security and thinking that he'd actually escape. Alright, there we go. Nice little fight, and no problem at all. We can see that our miners actually, by and large, out-killed the rangers, though they didn't out-damage them, admittedly, but especially with the enemy being relatively goblin-heavy, a single volley of blasting charges means a ton of damage into them. And I suppose at the end of the day, keeping the miners around will mean that, well, you know, they're weak. I don't know if they're I think they're tier 1 units. The basic miners are tier 1 units. I don't know about the blasting charges, but weak units like this might keep sort of end game battles interesting for this army, rather than having just a billion Bugman's Rangers to obliterate the enemy from the distance. You know what I mean? And we do like keeping battles interesting. Anyway, we'll execute and loot. And I assume we're going to be able to return to our own territory, because we'll want to take Iron Rock before moving back towards Aldium. Stonemason is good. Yes, you're going to go... Oh, too bad just a little bit short of reaching it. It's alright. Go right here to the edge of our own territory so that we can heal up and then hit Iron Rock right after. Like so. And nothing else needed. Assuming that we don't get any other heroes in here... We will probably evolve these guys to Bugmans as well, mostly because they don't really offer anything different than the Bugman's Rangers do. They're literally just a worse version of the same exact unit. They have no differences. And generally speaking, SFO is pretty good about, you know, generating units that are actually different from each other, but these guys offer no particular niche that we might want them. It's identical unit other than just being worse in every way. Anyway, let's see. Oh wait, I think that was the last army that we needed to move, is it not? Unless I'm mistaken, move that hero. I do want to double check heroes and Diplo before we... Okay, actually there isn't much in the way of heroes and Diplo. Alright, let's Diplo then. Quick deal. Trade agreement, Cult of Ulrich, Exiles of Nehek, still the same ones. We could have probably been generating a ton of money by trading with the High Elves if we keep them around. I still find it absolutely hilarious that Slaanesh has been wanting to trade with us so much, but, well, we're not going to trade with them. And even the Wood Elves are hankering for some trade. They probably won't be if we end up attacking them, so I guess we'll have to see. Anyway, I think that's all we got to do for this turn then, so we'll skip siege equipment. Where is... Oh, right here. Yeah, this will probably happen, as in the enemy will most likely attack us with like 3 or 4 stacks as soon as the turn ends, which will mean this will probably be a pretty darn fun fight. I think there's at least one more really big fight here, with Joseph of Zorn and the Tier 5 garrison at the Fortress of Vorag. Blood Knights, Hex Wraiths, we got a lot of good stuff, and no Runesmith, and those guys will have plenty of units backing them up. I am so excited to end the turn. Outpost available. Okay, you're interfering with the excitement game. Oh, you know what? We're gonna build this here because these guys actually have a war drum, which the Western provinces never built the building of, which I think is just insanity. Best unit in the roster, arguably, and they don't have it. But anyway, outpost available, at the very least in campaign, because support units are really good in campaign. Outpost available again? Oh, it's just a Ziflin, okay. I wish you could turn that off for specific factions, but anyway, before we end the turn, engagement threshold, 300 likes, 50 comments, and the next episode will be an hour adjacent, etc., long. Go. And, oh, right, I almost forgot about this. We've got the Bloody Hands sallying out of, whatever this place was called, Kradtamen. This should be pretty fun, especially because it's savage units. I don't even know how we're going to deal with these giants. 40 missile resistance, 10 physical, and 10 ward save. And just generally speaking, all that massive amount of physical resistance and no rain or no magical damage in our army. Gunnery army, this is going to be a... Armor, piercing missile damage, and penetrations to you. This is going to be a certain trial by fire. Plus, if you can destroy everything, we'll be able to capture this place immediately. So, here's hoping. I somehow doubt that's gonna happen, but here's hoping. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Our gunnery army on field at last and ready to get its debut battle underway. And wouldn't you know it, we get a Chokepoint battle to start their first fight, which is just fantastic for them. Their cannons, their organ guns, their grudge rakers, and their thunderers. Should be pretty darn nice. And this will be the debut of the organ guns as well, which are always entertaining to watch. There we go, firing away at whatever enemies they can. The organ guns are pretty darn solid at dishing out damage to things like trolls, which get obliterated, and well, similar for those poor spider riders, which charged forth into the waiting gun line. That is a lot of combined gun power. Oh yeah, look at those grudge rakers. Instantly obliterate that unit of forest goblin spider riders. Probably a little bit of overkill, probably a lot of overkill, as they fired on that one unit, but not to worry. We got plenty more bullets where that came from. And the skill is also a really nice aspect of this particular choke point. Boy unit charges forth and they get pretty much melted away. As they do, the next one is charging forth as well, however, and it looks like this one will actually reach the Grudge Rakers. Not to worry though, we're going to pop stand your ground on our units, and thus giving us 79 to 74 melee defense on our Grudge Rakers, and for a technically range unit, that's a lot of melee defense. Anyway, the various units of guns continue firing down on the enemy below. Tactically, I mean, there isn't too much to say about this particular battle. Just hold the line, fire into the massive blob of greenskins. Pretty hard to miss as the choke point is teaming with them. In the meantime, if you're wondering where the giants are, they're not able to close the distance. We're using cannons on them. Giants are staggerable units, and every time they get hit hard by cannon fire, they just get knocked down to the ground and have to wait to get back up, which is allowing us time to deal with the rest of the enemy units without worrying about the giants. It would be easier, obviously, to have the Thunderers just kill the giants as soon as they got close, but the Thunderers have other things to do. They're a little busy here. Let's be real here. And if 2 units of cannons can keep the giants back for the entire course of the battle, I'm perfectly happy with that. Anyway, the gunnery continues to work. The enemy is still dying in droves and completely unable to break through the line of our Grudge Rakers here. Working quite well. I guess all that extra melee defense with Stand Your Ground really helped. I believe Stand Your Ground is up at this point in time, so we do still have to be at least somewhat careful. Zufbar 42 pounders come down in the midst of the enemy horde as well, and once again the choke point is working out. Those 2 giants still getting knocked down, getting back up constantly. Many of the orcs, however, do not have that luxury, as they will not be getting back up due to being riddled with bullets here. Still in the midst of the fight, but I'd wager not for too much longer. This army. I feel like we're going to have a lot of fun with this one. Can't wait to see it in its first field battle as well, not just the choke point battle, but I think the choke point is the perfect place to sort of showcase them with the with all of the units of guns firing over each other. Absolutely beautiful. And with that, the enemy army breaks, and our Thunderer line, our Grudge Raker line, is barely damaged here. Enemy is going to do their best to try to escape, and we'll probably have a bad time of it as well. Alright, the giant gets brought down yet again, never having managed to close the distance due to that cannon fire, which I still find hilarious. Ooh, we also got the techs that we're going to research, which will give us another 20% range on all of the Thunderers here. The Grudge Rakers are currently at 144, so they're at the same range as a unit of Orc Error Boys. Less range than the unit of Quarrelers or Crossbows or anything like that, but with another 20% range, they'd probably be a standard sort of range. Regular Thunderers are up to 272, and once again, another 20% is going to be real nice. Granted, this is partially increased by the ballistics calibration, but we have a decent amount of uptime on the ballistics calibration as well, which is why we like to use 2 engineers rather than 1. You've all been wondering why I keep wanting to get multiple engineers in armies and wanting that additional capacity. Anyway, a really fun fight for these guys. That was so dang fun. I gotta say, I am extremely satisfied with that battle. That was just awesome. Holding the choke point with the all-gun army, just glorious to watch. Massive damage on probably every single unit here. Everybody covering between 20k-ish damage. The cannons 19k. Looks like 19k. The Zufbar steel sights, the only named unit, got the most damage. Go figure. And for the Thunderers, the Gromroll Company at 24k also got the most damage, as it's the only named Thunderer unit, as in the regular Thunderer unit. Go figure. Alright, and 27k on the only named Grudge Raker, a unit. I've always said that I have a superstition that as soon as you give the unit a name, it starts performing better, and I think, considering that every single one did, you know, there's some truth to that. And then the same thing for Sweet Music, which damaged the unnamed organ gun. You know what? I really enjoyed that, and I'm going to make sure to give these guys some more names after the end of the after this turn is over. Anyway, let's execute and loot. We should be able to auto-resolve the rest of this just fine.
Why'd you darken my halls with your foul presence?
Ooh, and we were looking to somewhat avoid this, but it looks like Heinrich Kemmler will declare war on us, which is interesting because Mr. Golgi Maneater has also just declared war on us by declaring war on the Imperials down in the lowlands, and we have joined the war. And yeah, all right. Well, things are heating up in this portion of the world, which is great. We're not going to call our allies to help once again. I'm a little bit too wary of losing outpost units, especially after that thing that I'm still salty about, where all of the 80 allegiance spent on the Reichland war wagons disappeared rather than, you know, be refunded. It makes absolutely no sense. The outpost was destroyed, but the currency was not given back. Even the unit, I don't know, the currency should have been refunded. We ordered some units, they did not deliver the units. The currency still exists, we're still allies. Yeah, and they just didn't deliver. Anyway.
Do not sully my presence.
Oh, you have got to be... Oh, wow. Oh, things just got real interesting. The undead have all joined together, and it looks like Kemmler will be attacking us from this side, and this massive border with Sylvania means we will be attacking them as well. Very, very nice. All right. It's a little bit concerning for some of these territories. Ooh, I hope we don't immediately lose Oakenhammer, because I'm invested in it. Alright, it looks like we're going to get the points in Ungrim's army that powers him up against the vampire counts, as it looks like he'll be fighting some vampires. Okay, this means we really need to rapidly take these territories and then consolidate. Hope that doesn't mean King Azrael has to stay back. Ooh, more likely than not, this means these guys are also probably planning to declare war on us, though. Oh, this is really getting interesting. Don't call allies to help again. Alright, as expected, Brock Ironpick will get attacked by, as expected, about 3.5 stacks of rats. They're not the strongest rats, mind you, but quantity is a quality of its own, and, well, there's a lot of quantity here. Probably over 10,000 rats. That should be pretty fun. And we don't have an easy way to kill massive droves of them, as we don't have the flame cannons, but at least we have the 3 iron drakes to rely upon. Should be a pretty darn fun fight. I don't think we're killing them all, but nonetheless, let's do it. Even if a lot of them run away. Alrighty, here we go. Pretty darn excited for this one. At least 10,000 rats of Clan Spittle descend upon us, and, well, 4 stacks and so many units to deal with. We'll see if this little army manages to survive / pull it off. We do have a pretty darn solid position. We're kind of in the center of the map, but we're right below a sort of Karak here, and basically surrounded on all sides by rocks here, and even here. This terrain is impassable. I think this is basically the limit of how far you can go. So we are very much able to protect our artillery. Now, in a previous episode, we did have the issue of the enemy army sort of breaking through our lines in a similar sort of formation. However, in this particular battle, I don't think they really have anything that could do that. Maybe the assassin, maybe the warlord, maybe the rat ogres, but it's extremely limited compared to the number of sort of big, massive single entities that we had to deal with last time. Anyway, enemy was waiting for their reinforcements by the looks of it, and well, they are very slowly on the approach. Wolf rats are kind of hanging out and try to drop a few of our bolt thrower bolts at them. I don't know if this is a waste of ammunition or not, but might as well just let them fire. I'm kind of sitting back and waiting to do something. May as well get a little bit of those arranging shots in, a little target practice, warm up, as it were, before the main fight. Ooh, I love it when those bolt throwers manage to skewer multiple units at once. It's just neat. Alrighty, and it looks like those wolf rats are going to be pretty much destroyed and back up. We'll just speed this up a teensy bit, and oh, it looks like finally the actual rats are drawing. Well, I mean, they're all actual, right? You know what I mean. And oh, nice. I come flying down that hill. Looks like those grudge settlers are dropping those rocks upon the big blob. Oh, that's really neat. Huh. Why is it doing that? It specifically seems to be sending 1 or 2 units flying every time. I guess that's the unit that the projectile makes contact with. It's oh, this is fun. This is a new dwarf in the sport, or maybe a very old dwarf in the sport. I feel like this is definitely something they'd enjoy. Oh, I could watch this all day. This is fantastic. Alright, hey, I just saw somebody not make a rat go flying with their shot. Come on now, Grudge Settler crew. Somebody's gonna have to buy everybody's ale. Ooh, 3 go flying at the same time that time. Nice, nice. I don't know why I started speaking like a rat, but anyway. Here we go. Looks like the enemy are advancing. These are the regular, I believe, grudge throwers, aren't they? So they're probably not going to do nearly as much damage as the grudge settler variants we're used to. Obviously, if they had the explosive ammunition from the Rune of Burning, or if they had the shrapnel projectiles, it would be a little bit different. Not to worry. They're going to get a little bit of backup from the piles of bolt throwers as well. You know, interestingly in this campaign, I feel like I've been using bolt throwers and miners more than I've ever used bolt throwers and miners when playing dwarfs, just, I don't know, throughout the course of playing this game, ever since the first game, which is a really good thing, I think. Whenever there is sort of units in a roster that nobody ever uses, that unit needs a, you know, strong look at, if that makes sense, to make them more viable. Skink cohorts with shields in Lizardman. Completely useless unit because javelin skinks exist. But anyway, yeah, I'm loving the fact that bolt throwers and miners are very, very viable, at least in SFO. I don't know what they look like in vanilla nowadays, but pretty happy with the results. Anyway, most of the enemies still moving towards us very slowly. They do have a hill to climb, if you're wondering why they're moving so slowly, even for rats. They started out here, and uphill reduces your speed, and the entire battlefield is essentially uphill, so not much they can do about it. We got a pretty good position, minus the fact that the enemy has also a pretty darn good position for its artillery piece. It's essentially hidden in a forest, and while we use about half of our ammunition of our grudge throwers, pretty much every grudge thrower shot gets blocked by the trees, and the enemy artillery piece is fine. Eventually, I just give up firing upon it because we can't do anything about it, which is kind of neat. Not so neat for the dwarfs that are inevitably going to take a lot of artillery fire while we do that. Anyway, looks like an assassin is going to move towards us and is about to get into range of our regular units. And apparently I forgot to turn off. Another rat goes flying. Another unit of, 1 unit of Iron Drakes had skirmish mode on it and is in fact moving forward because it was thinking it was going to get charged by the assassin. It's always so bizarre to me when the skirmish mode actually sends the units rushing forward. Wow, this poor assassin, he is getting the same kind of treatment that those giants got in that last battle. Gets up and gets knocked down and gets knocked back again. I don't think he's going to be able to achieve anything. The first of the rats have also started to move on in on our left flank and have closed the distance. Well, not really closed the distance. Closed range, let's say, with our Iron Drakes, which are going to start burninating. And it looks like that enemy assassin is out. There is still a warlord, I think 3 warlock engineers or plague priests or whatever, 3 casters at least, running around that we're going to have to deal with. And let's see, the artillery piece, yeah, see, it's completely fine. Barely damaged at all, and we used so much ammunition on our grudge settler, or on our grudge throwers rather, in order to try to damage it before giving up. Really good positioning for it. It's kind of interesting that it's able to fire through those trees, but we're not able to fire through those trees, but I'll take it. Always impressed when the AI can get a lot of work done. I guess it does also hit the trees plenty amount of times, it's just that because it has 8 units, it still gets plenty of shots managing to move through. Anyway, as we can see here, the enemy Warlord Chieftain, Warlord, is having a pretty bad time. On Bonebreaker you may be, but that just makes you a bigger target for those bolt throwers which will snipe you from across the map. And the same thing is going to happen to the enemy Plague Priests or the Grey Seers or whatever Warlock Engineers they have there, as we continue targeting them with our units of bolt throwers. They do make pretty darn good snipers. Especially with various buffs. We don't have them for them here, but it's certainly... In fact, we don't have bolt throwers in any army where an overseer leads them to increase their range significantly, which may be something to think about. 425 is decent. It's about, I think it's the same amount of range as a Plague Claw catapult has. But it might be nice to see them snipe with even more range. Anyway, the first of the enemy Vanguard have been burned away, though it does look like we've lost about half of the HP on one of our units of Drake guns due to fire from that darn Plague Claw. 10 kills, but 7.6 thousand damage. Which does make sense, as we're more likely to take damage rather than lose units directly, at least while we still have decent HP. Looks like the Grudge Settler unit of Iron Drakes vastly outranges everybody else because of that, or at least the other Iron Drakes, because of the entrenchment that they've got, plus 40% range. And we'll burn a unit from pretty darn far away. Alright, very nice. And man, there is still a lot of rats to deal with here. And let's see, we still got, oh wow, a full stack and a half a stack coming in as reinforcements. Yeah, this battle has barely begun, if anything. Let's just speed it up a little bit while the enemy tries to close the distance a little bit, just for a few more seconds, and just continue the artillery fire. For now, they are nowhere near to actually reaching our lines. They're really having a tough time with the artillery bombardment combined with the fact that the entire map is uphill. This is a really, really good position to hold ground for this type of army. Probably wouldn't matter over much if it was mostly a melee army, because while the enemy would still have to go uphill, they wouldn't be taking shots as they climbed. And there we go, looks like an enemy lord goes down under fire from our artillery pieces. Looks like this one is next on the menu as we continue to try to snipe it. And it looks like though the hill is very much interfering with the enemy, it isn't doing too much to interfere with our artillery's ability to fire. I would have honestly thought that... Oh, look at all those rats go flying. A great day in the sort of rat punting sport events. What was I saying? I was thinking that the hills of this map, sort of and being an uneven elevation, an uneven hill, would interfere with our ability to actually fire upon the enemy with our bolt throwers, as in snipe the enemy lords and heroes, but it doesn't seem to be the case, as another Grey Seer will be going down shortly. Alright, and ooh, maybe this one will get away. He's got 521 HP and will perhaps be using these trees for cover. Oh, that was a nice hit. I think that one actually did land, and that one did land as well. Oh my lord, that poor Oh, that poor rat. I was not expecting that. Seems to have exploded while trying to get up from the previous shot. Not a good day for the poor Plague Priest, not that he's aware of it anymore. Anyway, it looks like the bounce power is still very much in the enemy's favor, but just due to the sheer amount of enemies that are still yet to arrive on the field. Interesting thing, though, is our grudge throwers are completely out of ammunition. Our units of bolt throwers are almost all completely out of ammunition. 2 are out, 1 has maybe 15%, 1 has 10%. Alright, and we've got... Okay, we still got more than a stack of reinforcements coming in. Alright. It does feel like an appropriate number of rats to deal with, but at the same time it does feel like they're taking a long time to actually try to reach us. Though admittedly every unit that actually moves into range immediately fries. So that probably adds something to their inability to actually move towards us. It looks like we got some clan rats attempting to charge towards us on the right flank at least. Here they come, and I think these guys are out of the cone of fire of the Iron Drakes, so they will actually manage to move through. They are not, however, out of the cone of fire of the blasting charges, and clan rats are not going to have a particularly good day against them. Alright, is this the signal of for the rest of the army to, our enemy armies to move towards us? Maybe we'll see. Clan rats, 37 move speed and -9 from very tired. And ooh, if it isn't an enemy warlord actually making his way towards us, we're going to try to snipe him with the last of the remaining ballista bolts that we have, but alas, I don't think we have sufficient ammunition to do anything anymore. This is definitely one of the longest sort of defensive battles that we've fought. And just endless amount of rats, but it feels absolutely appropriate. The enemy lord does charge in, and I don't think we have any more ammunition left to snipe him, but that's alright. Both our lord and our Thane are here to meet him, and we shouldn't have any trouble with a single warlord here who is shaken. And rats are finally charging in towards our main line at last. Wonder how those... well, we still got a decent bit of ammunition on the Iron Drakes, but half on the Grudge Settler variant, though. And if there's another full stack on the way, they may very well run out of ammunition. All of our artillery are done. And we'll see how many blasting charges we can throw before we run out of those as well. But honestly, that just, once again, that feels perfect for fighting the Skaven. This is exactly what it should go like. In the sense that they should be able to keep sending numberless hordes at you until you completely run out of ammunition, until everybody is forced to fight with axe in hand instead. And it does look like a significant number has actually managed to reach our lines. Gonna try our best to burninate them. Going to slightly reposition our Iron Drakes to fire into their flanks, and same thing with the miners to keep chucking those blasting charges into the biggest blob of enemies that we've got here. And that was pretty effective, as the rats are burning in droves and exploding in droves as well, and on a good way. Beautiful. And it does look like our Longbeards are holding them off just fine. I mean, especially with the Lord and the Thane here to command them. Just taking in the sights, not too much to say about it. Rats keep charging forth and keep suffering for their attempts to do so. Looks like we've repositioned even more units. Balance of power has shifted to maybe about 45% in our favor now. Nearly 50-50, but once again, and just so many reinforcements to deal with. Alright, but as long as we have fuel left in those Iron Drake tanks, the vast majority of the enemy shouldn't pose too major a threat. Ooh, nice combo fire from the blasting charges and the Iron Drakes there as well, obliterating 2 units as they move towards us together. A little bit of help from the Drake guns as well. And let's see what we've got. Now the enemy reinforcements are... they're still coming. Now we still have those rat ogres to deal with. Another like 10 or 15 units moving in. Man. Wow. Mr. Brock Ironpick, I gotta double check which trait he has, because I think he's, with this, earned the ability to stick around. I was about to say, and get a proper army, but frankly, this is a fairly decent army anyway. Some solid combo of troops. We might alter it in a few ways, as I think the artillery might need a few alterations. Maybe even just swap out two of the maybe bolt throwers and turn them into cannons. But frankly, the bolt throwers might actually be more effective against the Skaven in particular, since we're not sniping cavalry and the large entities nearly as much as perhaps against other factions. And I think the bolt throwers might be better at sniping lords than cannons are. I'm not entirely sure. It's certainly a possibility, because they're a little bit less direct fire. They're still direct fire, but I think they arc a little bit better than cannons do. And the bounce power is still in the enemy's favor. In fact, it has dropped as the enemy is getting even more reinforcements on the field. We're starting to run out of ammunition now. The Iron Breakers are out. Miners have one last volley in them. Iron Drakes, Grudge Settlers. Damn, look at this freaking unit. It's up to 1,800 kills on one unit. Good lord. But this is exactly the perfect type of army for them to deal with. If it was facing off against, you know, Chosen or Chaos Warriors, every single unit would probably be able to reach our line while taking damage, mind you. But we've seen Grimbrindle fight those guys with his Iron Drakes, and it takes quite a bit of effort to bring them down due to the resistances and heavy armor. Anyway, yeah, this Iron Drake unit is not going to be able to fire for too much longer, and frankly, the other two are down to 25% of their ammunition as well. Alright, yeah, it's official. This is definitely the longest battle we fought in this campaign, but yeah, the hill in combination with the fact, or the entire map worth of hill, plus in combination with the enemy having 4 stacks, is certainly contributing to that. Kind of impressive that the rats haven't broken yet, but I guess, well, this is kind of the way this game are supposed to fight, as we've said, so makes sense. And ooh, the last of the enemy reinforcements finally makes their way onto the field. One more Plague Claw Catapult, Plague Ogres, and whatever they've got here. We can't obliterate them from a distance nearly as much anymore due to the lack of those artillery pieces. And we're going to have to move a unit of Thunderers with Drake guns forward as well. Mostly because the enemy slingers were outranging us, and we certainly don't want the gutter runner slingers with poison firing away. Alright, the hill is protecting them a little bit. They have a better firing arc than we do on those shotguns, but that's alright. It looks like the gutter runner slinger is still losing enough units for it not to matter over much. The speed reduction would probably also help if we needed to fire upon them with other units, but the other units just don't have the ammunition anymore. Grudge Settler, Iron Drake's out of ammunition. This unit of miners still has a full complement, though, because the enemy failed to reach this location. Mostly they closed the line on our right flank, and not so much on the left. Alright, and they just keep coming, very, very slowly. Ah, the hill. And there we go, keep on trying, little ratties. Man, I wonder how this particular battle would have looked, as in on the same map and the same massive hill against an against an actually slow-moving faction, because the rats are fast. What if we were facing extremely slow infantry like Saurus or Chaos Warriors, non-Slaneshi, Chaos Warriors or something, or even undead? It would have been pretty neat, though admittedly the undead would have been similar to the Skaven and having massive numbers, just, you know, a lot slower. Anyway, our last Iron Drakes, or our last ammunition, being fired away at those rats, but we might just make it. The bounce power finally looking like it's 50-50, as this is the enemy's last hurrah, the last of the units attempting to push forth and move towards our lines. Still did have those blasting charges on these guys, and of course the Iron Drake, well, not the Iron Drakes, the Grudge Settlers, or the Drake Guns rather, still have their ammunition, as most of the enemies didn't get close enough to actually deal with those. And the army losses, I'm sure, are very much starting to tell. I see Lord dead, and we did manage to snipe most of the enemy, if not all the enemy Lords, but I'm surprised army losses hasn't forced the enemy army to rout yet, but I guess it's just so dang many. I can't believe this is 24 minutes, and granted we sped through a bit of that, but definitely a marathon of a battle that will finally end. That was absolutely fantastic. So dang many rats. Okay, that had to have been more than 10,000, right? It felt like more. Anyway. Ooh. Alright. Beautiful fight, a heroic victory against those numbers. Well done, Mr. Brock Ironpick. Alrighty, another absolutely magnificent battle, especially with pretty much every single one of our units running out of ammunition. The bolt throwers were out, the grudge throwers were out, all but one of the units of iron drakes were out, and, well, I guess the thunderers with drake guns still had some ammo. The miners were out. Fantastic. And the rats just kept on coming, and, well, a lot of them did manage to run away, but we did snipe almost all the single entities, all the lords and heroes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6? Yeah, 6 dead, 1 alive, and that alone is pretty entertaining, so great job to the bolt throwers for doing that. Look at the numbers on all of those iron drakes as well. Nearly 200,000 damage and 2,000 kills on the grudge settler unit, and then the other ones hovering around 1,000 kills and 100,000 damage. Absolutely insane numbers, and I guess I underestimated it by a fairly decent amount. It was 14,000 rather than 10,000 Skaven, so outnumbered 14 to 1, 40 units lost for 7.6 thousand Skaven. Absolutely beautiful. We will... 200 oath gold. I would love to heal you guys, but you know what? It's too much oath gold to say no to. Man, this episode is getting some great fights. Alrighty, and the interesting fights ain't over yet by a long shot. Here come the Sires of Morcane, which, well, we allowed this to happen, and this should give us a fantastic fight as well. We got 3 Terrorgeists that we're going to have to definitely watch out for. The single unit of Mourngulls is also going to be joined by 4 or 5 units of Ghostly units, all of which will be invisible and will be able to tear through our lines if we allow them to reach us. Oh, 4 Terrorgeists, damn, and 5 Ghostly units, including Hex Wraiths, and 2 units of Blood Knights, plus just a ton of other units and Graveguard and all that sort of stuff. It's gonna be another fantastic fight, I'd wager, and ooh, depending on whether the Dead Rise works or not, we might be able to instantly occupy the these settlements, so we'll definitely quick save, and then we'll fight battle.
By Grimnir I order thee!
Alrighty, here we go. Joseph of Zorn has been having a lot of fun in the Darklands, and I don't think that's going to end because there's a lot of undead to take care of, a lot of elite undead, I should say, to take care of in this particular fight. We're going to deploy all the way as far back as we can from the enemy's deployment, not quite to the edge of the map, of course, but there is a nice plateau here to use as a protection for our right flank, so we're going to make use of it. Plus, the sort of bog territory, I believe, will slow the enemy down. Anyway, the main reason that we want to deploy this far away rather than where the artillery can fire upon the enemy is because we have a decently sized little air force here with the 2 units of gyrocopters and 2 engineers, and they can certainly harass the enemy flyers and establish air superiority, and then harass the entire enemy army on the approach. As the enemy charges forth towards us with their Terrorgeist and those Fellbats, we're going to stop them all or slow them down significantly in their tracks with that flash bomb. And in combination with the flammable debuff, it's a massive reduction in terms of speed, slowing the Terrorgeist down to merely 35 and making it effectively impossible to catch these super fast moving 132 speed gyrocopters. Frankly, the bats are pretty darn slow as well, moving only as fast as infantry now, and simply getting shot apart from the sky. It looks like having those Drake fire handguns or the trait that gives us the flammable on our engineers is quite useful. I gotta remember that flammable reduces speed as well. And I gotta try to remember which units actually apply this, as in... Wait, do Drake guns apply flammable? Yeah, they do apply flammable, okay. That means Drake guns will work well in our planned slowdown army. I guess it can be slow down and burn as well, because we can probably combine some fire units with them as well. Not Iron Drakes, because they don't cause these slowdowns, although when we saw Joseph of Zorn previously fight the previously fight the Chaos Dwarfs, we saw the effect of the stagger that the Iron Drakes cause. When units stagger, we know that they can't really fire or really do anything, and it was quite effective against enemy blunderbusses, which would otherwise be similarly devastating to our own Thunderers with Grudge Rakers and stuff like that. So, certainly something to think about. Alrighty, anyway, we're trying to focus down this little corpse guard here. It's getting a massive amount of heals due to the invocation of the heck, but that's alright. We're just mostly A, wasting the enemy's mana, and B, wasting their time while we get ready for the other Terrorgeists to move on to the map. We've knocked out one, and we got 3 to go. And another flash bomb will slow this one down to 25 speed. Ouch. Base value 100, minus 50, minus 25 from the 2, and there ain't no way it's gonna reach those gyrocopters. A lovely little bit of air superiority. We're lucky that the enemy doesn't have a Vampirus on a Hellsteed, because then that would have been an issue. I mean, granted, we could have slowed the Vampire down as well, and it probably would have been a much bigger threat than the Terrorgeist would be, being a small target and more difficult to hit and all that. I guess one wouldn't have been a concern, although potentially if it was a Lure of Shadows to slow us down with Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma, we slow them, they slow us, and that would have been a little dance. Anyway, enemies starting to move towards us now. It's going to be a long time as they travel towards our main line, though it looks like one single Vanguard unit of Dire Doggos managed to reach the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Gotta be careful about actually accidentally killing off our own warriors here with our range units. Do love these guys' red color scheme. I've always once again found it weird that the game doesn't have an army painter, as I would have absolutely loved to have different armies color coordinated in different manners, especially around regiments of renown and stuff like that. But oh well. You can't have everything, I suppose. Anyway, how are we doing? And Balance of Power obviously very much in the enemy's favor. Once against a ton of elite units. There's Blood Knights in there. There's a lot of monstrous infantry and all. But the first of the enemies are arriving at our main line, and, well, we're just going to have to do our best to fight them. Interestingly, it seems that our flame cannons are having a little bit of a difficult time actually getting their shots up. Let's hope that they can fire upon the incoming Black Knights here. Alright, they'll take a volley from, I believe, the blasting charges, followed by the Drake guns and the Iron Drakes. There we go. Luckily for us, the undead don't like fire. I guess it's a little bit of a mixed bag in the Darklands in the sense that, that wasn't quite the right choice of words, but anyway, in the sense that the Chaos Dwarfs are super resistant to fire, and then the undead very much not, and have a weakness to fire instead. So we get an opponent that's weak against this army, and an opponent that's strong against this army, so that's pretty neat if nothing else. But I've always loved using fire armies against the undead, especially, you know, piles of zombies and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, all that aside, units are still moving in, a couple of massive columns traveling across the map. It looks like another of the enemy Terrorgeists is about to be brought down, but the Ghosties have managed to approach, and the Mournguls as well. The Warriors of Dragonfire Pass are holding them back, but they are taking a fair bit of friendly fire. Even with the 55% fire resistance that they have, it might not quite be enough. And if there's any other ways we can acquire more fire resistance in this army, I feel like there's a forge item or two that might give us a fire resistant Sora. If we make the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, give them the, I want to say 70% is the max you can have in terms of resistances. Not 100% what it was anymore. 75%, okay, that's it. Then they'd be able to take even more friendly fire. Ooh, and it looks like Blood Knights have arrived as well, and it looks like the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass will actually break before the Blood Knights, and that kind of makes sense. Terrified, yep. Hex Wraiths and Blood Knights on the front line, that's not so great, and the unit of Karen Wraiths moves on in as well and takes a fair bit of damage, but of course with Ethereal giving them 75% physical resist and our army here largely being physical and non-magical damage, they are able to get through. And we gotta remember that this army's main line, other than the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, is miners, and those miners aren't going to be super capable of standing against those cairn rates. So we gotta bring them down before they do too much damage. Our engineer has returned. Or at least one of the engineers has returned, mostly because we needed to apply ballistics calibration to the entirety of our force, increasing their range and capabilities, as the main enemy host has arrived. And as we've seen, the flame cannons surprisingly not really doing anything. We can see that they have plenty of ammunition. I've been repeatedly trying to tell them to target specific units, and they're kind of refusing to fire. I'm not entirely sure what it is, and maybe the hills. I don't know. I probably should have moved them further back, but I didn't want to get close to the edge of the screen because I don't like doing that. Oh well, not a big deal. It's certainly giving the Iron Drakes and Drake guns a lot of chances to do good work here and burninate all those skeletons and Graveguard and zombies as they move on. And oh, there we go. Got some shots off on the from the flame cannons. Looks like they'll burninate a unit of skeleton spears. And look at the army burn. Beautiful. I will never get tired of watching this army. And I was thinking about making another sort of fire and slayers army, a fire slayer army, as it were. Certainly a possibility. Maybe mix various types of slayers together, as currently our regular slayers and our slayer pirates are sort of separate, as in the slayer pirates are in their own armies and the regular slayers are in their own. Mix a few of those together, pop a few fire units in, and you have some fire slayers. Certainly something to think about. Anyway, that's still a lot of undead, even though we managed to dish out tons of damage to them over the course of the battle. There are still plenty moving in, but without the artillery doing a lot of work for this army in this particular case, it's up to the rest of the units. Which is actually fantastic, giving everybody else a chance to shine. Corpse Guard moving in and actually managing to brave the line and brave the fires and take only about half of its HP and damage. Blasting charges still flying around, but it looks like the balance of power has shifted to almost completely in our favor, and that massive charge of undead was their last attempt to make it through. Still a vampire lord, kind of hiding in the woods, telling or commanding or controlling all of the undead to try to attack us, while he sits back safe, or at least probably thought he was safe, but the brimstone guns have found him and will destroy him hiding in the trees instead. There we go, the thralls have been destroyed, the lord has been destroyed, and with that, a heroic victory is ours. Absolutely magnificent fight. Yeah, we got an engineer's knapsack out of that. Well deserved, I think, and the entire enemy army was wiped out. A pretty interesting fight, especially because due to the positioning, the flame cannons were having a really difficult time actually firing away, so it was up to all of our other units to do the work. 40,000 damage on these stoned masons and 38,000 on the route clearance team, so great job to the miners with blasting charges. They certainly shined here, getting half as much damage as 2 units of the Grudge Settler Iron Drakes, the old Sootbeards and Needleite, though of course with 500 kills each, both did fantastic as well, and 21k damage on one of the Thunderous Drake guns. We got a lot of use out of the gyrocopters and the 2 engineers as well for hunting down those enemy aerial units and then just proceeding to irritate the enemy army on its approach. A great fight. Let's hope it doesn't Alright, a new turn, a new day, Grudgekeeper, Brewmaster, Dwarf Bride, and okay, I probably actually should have taken those off of those guys, but whatever. Enemy killed in battle aplenty, sword of something, longshot cap, there's that engineer's cap, and a convoy arrived from the Chaos Dwarfs. thanks. Creator, constructor, etc. And well, if it isn't Mr. Get Yourself Killed Tech Thief, go out here, try that again. I mean, we might not even need Tech Thieves for too much longer, so you best be doing something. Oh, Magrokhan, you got the plague now, so just transfer to a different territory, meaning we're going to have to venerate the ancestors here as well. Oh, those Skaven plagues, they do be annoying. Alright, a brutal business, and okay, well, these things have 3 turns. If only it had stayed confined to this particular province, that would have been a lot better, but what can you do? Ooh. We'll be in range of Nagash's. Ooh, I wonder if they'd be willing to sally out and fight Thorgrim in the field. That would be pretty nice, depending on what's in there. Actually, just generally speaking, it would be pretty nice. Ooh, also before I forget, you're gonna pop into this army. Hardened armor. Certainly needed here. 85 armor on those various units of rangers, not too bad. Alright. We should move you in. Okay, you know what? I forgot to do any naming last episode, so we should do a random naming right now after we occupy Karaz-a-Karak. With this army, because, well, it also had a really fun fight. Just generally, tons of great fights this episode. Might have been my favorite episode so far against just the massive hordes of various enemies. And resolve, and don't you crash on me after I praised you, game. Okay, there we go. And Shaded Way, Karaz-a-Karak immediately upgradable to tier 5 again for free. Thank you to Belagar for that one. And we got the gunsmith's workshop, so we don't need the tool thing, but, well, we can grab the Karaz Ankor. We can immediately grab the trading depot. We could probably also build the Tinker's Den. We'll build the Deeps, and then whatever else we need here. You can also immediately pop into High King's Tribute, and yeah, you can start collecting the income. This is pretty solid territory. And if we're keeping this, we might as well keep it. More engineer capacity, I suppose, as we'll need that. Huh. Actually, that's funny. The Foundry will give us dwarf engineers rather than the engineering tree, doesn't it? Go figure. Huh, either way, alrighty, let's get at least a couple names in here. You, Organ Gun. Okay, the Organ's guns are the easiest because there's only 2 of them and one already has a name, so you will be Melody of Destruction. And it just fits. Zufbar's steel sights already exist for one of the cannons, so you can be Iron Head Takers. And you will... okay. And you will be Big Bada... Boom. Alright, let's do a couple of Thunders as well. We have Urban Warfare Operators. We'll join you with Dowie Handshake. Like so. And we'll join the Gromrel Company with Thunder of the... Okay, this isn't gonna fit. Oh, it fit. By 1 character. I'm actually quite impressed that that fit. Alrighty. And that also made me lose my place. Okay, you know what? We have been using a lot of the Slayer. Well, maybe not a lot, but at least in Ungrim's army. Fair bit of the Slayers. We should probably name a few. Doom Seekers will be Honor Seekers. Like so. And at least one of the Doom Seekers will be Honor Seekers. And I'm just going to name various... I mean... Slayer names are Slayer names. If I get confused as to which Slayer specifically is supposed to have which specific Slayer name, that's life. That's the Slayer life. And, okay, back to this. Let's do one of the Grudge Settler Slayers. You'll be Craven Slayers. Maybe it should be Craven Slayers with a dash, as they are not Slayers that are Craven, they are the Slayers of the Craven, at least I'd assume so. Anyway, how about you? I guess they all have blue tattoos anyway, so blue tattoo group. Hey, what the heck? Okay. G key on my keyboard was sticking and it was disappointing. Anyway, how about King Azrael? You have that Grudge Settler Flame Cannon, you can be Gromrel Dragon. Actually, Gromrel Worm would make more sense here since we have a lot of Frost Worms. There we go. And we will... yeah, we'll get him a couple more of these guys. Now, we are using Slayer parts in the other army, though I am going to put them into this army. So, oh, no, actually, that reminds me. This army. You can't build Slayer parts directly. What you can do is globally recruit them, but not this turn. So I guess we'll have to wait. Ooh, I would like to double-check the recruitment, though. Vissenland and Nuln going to be a while before we can get those war wagons, but the army isn't ready anyway, so it's not a big deal. Reichland, I hate you. Kuhan's not going to help here. Hunts Marshall's expedition we don't have enough allegiance with. What about Sigmarsheim? Not enough allegiance with either, unfortunately. I was hoping to get a few more of those war wagons. Ally missions, well, at the very least, with these guys at war with all of the vamps, we should be able to get some decent vamp killage going. Oh, this guy's worth a fair bit. Marrow Muncher Gragbat. I love ogre names, they're just great. Anyway, that was pretty okay. Let's see. Let's name a couple units in your army. How about the gyrocopters? Are always easy to do. Let's do you two. And diplomacy? I mean, Snorri was a pretty diplomatic guy when he was alive. It did not end well, mind you, for befriending Malekith and all that, but, you know, in theory, diplomatic. And this is his new form of diplomacy. And, name the Valkyrie? Okay, I guess the Valkyries, like that. Makes more sense. Nobody let Valkia hear about this. Are you named Ironbreakers? You're not. Let's name an Ironbreakers unit. Grand Sappers for you. Sappers, not saps. And okay, I think that's good enough, at least for now. We'll do another round next time, assuming that I don't forget. And let's start in order again. Thorgrim, ow! He's reached his last level up point. We are, okay, he's up to 53 speed, and that's before the application of the Wayfarer standard, or Banner of Swiftness, rather. Wayfarer standard. It gives him Wayfarer. And if we remove one of these, we can give him even more speed. We can't lose the Master Rune of Spite. Oh, look at that melee defense, 116, 161 armor. We got 35 ward save, 20% physical resistance, and missile resistance 10. So he's pretty resistant to stuff as well. It's just that he can't heal anymore, because I don't believe anything here gives him healing. I do, however, like that he has another aura available to him, because more aura stacking is what his current army is all about. I guess we could do Grudge against the elves. I'm not entirely sure that we will actually be fighting the elves yet, so it's not, you know, just hold on to the one point that was going to irk me, admittedly. But anyway, go for banning. Don't get banned. Oh, I'm gonna run. Alright, well, I guess that means there isn't too much left in the Gashazar, I take it. Alright. And go for Nagashazar. What do we got here? Pyrrhic Victory. Against this. Honestly, it's pretty meh compared to Thorgrim's army and compared to the battle at Magorkhan. Oh, also, before I forget, you should be getting the Lichbone Penance, so now we have a Thunderbarge with magical damage, and this War Banner should, in theory, be on the Skyhammer Squadron. Oh, we actually have to fight this, don't we? Will these guys sally out? I could do it cinematically, I guess, as well. Alright, fine. You. I assume you can't reach this guy here? No. In fact, we have to figure out where to send you. I mean, I guess there is this territory. We don't have enough... Ooh, and we're actually coming into contact with Kugath now. We also have to wipe out these scumbags. And... scum-sucking pus bucket graybeards prospectors. Anyway, we are going to... I guess send you this way. We could jump over the mountains if we really want. Alright. You can... sort of jump over the mountains. Trespass in Emmeric's territory. The elves can cry about it, though. Although it'll be probably easier. Really? You can't go here? It might be the fact that the... Okay, you know what? It might be the fact that What's-His-Face joined this place. That made no sense. The Runesmith was put into this army. Anyway, let's do a fight. Thorgrim, let's jump on and shell. It shouldn't be too difficult at all, but, well, at least there's a Howling Warp Gale, 2 Howling Warp Gales to threaten our aerial units. And they've got a decent garrison, at least the tier 5 garrison here is fine. So yeah, quick save, and... fight battle. Vengeance indeed, fast Thorgrim, vengeance indeed. He's up to 60 speed with Strider now, and when he wants to, he has access to Flow of Battle to give him another 20% speed, and perfect vigor and all that. So, yeah, fast Thorgrim, go figure, pretty darn fast. I am excited to see him chase down some stuff. Probably gonna have to wait for a field battle for that, but it's all good. Anyway, never a proper episode of this campaign if we don't get Thorgrim some action. Slanashi giggle, and he's going to start this battle off by charging towards the enemy gate while we try to obliterate the enemy death globes and poison winds that are up on top of this wall here. Fortunately, our grudge throwers are pretty good at that. I probably actually should have backed them off so that they can fire from a distance rather than right up close to the enemy. And in the meantime, we got our gyro bombers, which are taking care of the enemy artillery pieces. Focus firing first to the enemy warp lightning cannons, and then following up with the plague claw catapults. Fortunately, a couple of bombs from the Skyhammer squadron and the special delivery bomber will by and large take care of the enemy artillery pieces. Can't be having the enemy lord use its howling warp gale on us, so it's just going to explode into pieces and from fire from those grudge throwers, while Thorgrim's thundercloud, our thunder barge, heads over those walls, ignores everything, and starts firing down on the enemy below. Shotgun blasts, bombs, cannon fire, everything you want. Alrighty, and the enemy is not going to have too many things that will threaten this, especially once we bring down all those death globes, poison winds, and gutter runners, and that's obviously the first on the menu. Thorgrim is still working away at the enemy gate, and it's down to about 15%, 50% of its HP, but that's alright. It'll give a little bit more opportunity for the flyers to do their thing. Once again, I hate this net thing. As in, I hate the effect, the way it looks, because it doesn't make any sense. And again, this thing only gives a minus 25% reduction in speed. That's it. That's all it does. It's a just huge, ugly effect that covers half the map and every single unit, and all it does is have a slight reduction in speed. It's silly. And I will keep complaining about it until it's removed. At least until the visual effect is removed. I don't know. It takes me out of the immersion. It's the same exact effect, visual effect, as Net of Amantok, which you want to see, which actually keeps all your units locked in place, as in you can't move. This is its same exact effect and is uglier, with a minor amount of speed reduction. It makes, I don't know. All good though. Gonna keep targeting those enemy heroes, and another Warlock Engineer will get obliterated. No more Howling Warp Gales for them, I believe, unless, wait, did they have one more? They might have had one more running around somewhere, unless it's been killed as well. At least I hope so. Have taken a little bit of damage on our Thunder Barge now, about maybe 20%, but most of the enemy range units have at this point been cleared, and the rest will be cleared out shortly as well. 5,000 HP left on that gate, so still a little bit of work to do. We're not going to win the battle with our range units, however, as in our aerial units, our flyers, so we're going to set them up over on this side of the map, and just have them blink away at various units rather than target specific ones. This will just give us time for these guys to still be doing something, but for Thorgrim to break down the gate and move in with his single entities and his hammerers. Fortunately, there's plenty of rats to go around for everybody in this particular battle. Generally speaking, I guess every battle against the Skaven. Anyway, almost through that gate now. In fact, let's just speed this up a little bit while we break it down and break on through. There we go. The gate goes down at last, and Thorgrim charges towards those gutter runners with all his other single entities in tow. Sad that Girgrim isn't here with us anymore, but he had to join Ungrim, so it does make sense. And here comes Thorgrim running way ahead of the rest of the unit, sending some rats flying with his charge as well. And he's slowed down with that net, but he's still at 53 move speed, even with the net slowing him down. And it looks like he doesn't actually care about those gutter runners. There's an enemy assassin in the midst of all this, so Thorgrim is going to try to make sure to reach him. But it's not like said assassin has anywhere to run, really, as Gotrek is also nearby. Even our runesmith is trying to help out, or one of our runesmiths. We have two. I think we were going to remove one from this army, unless I'm mistaken, but I guess it's not super important right now. Anyway, here come the piles of rats. Obviously, we could have come in and just bombed all these guys with our range units, our flyers. But I wanted to make sure our single entities and our hammers got the chance to play. Here come the Everguard with shields. Been the only shielded hammer unit we've had in this particular army for the entire campaign so far, but only for what, 2 more turns, as the next unit of Everguard is finally nearly here. Gotrek, Felix, and the Runesmiths and the Thane back there are wading into the fray a little bit further than Thorgrim this time. Oh, there he goes. Alrighty, and I like that he can use his mass to just break. There we go, Thorgrim, good job. Oh, he's heading towards the enemy assassin. Thorgrim is at, wait, what's his mass at? 4,000, pretty solid. I think a Grail Knight has, I want to say 1.5k, unless I'm mistaken. So 4,000 on that throne in combination with his speed is darn nice. And the enemy assassin is booking that on out of there. Only 48 speed, eh, assassin? That is not enough to escape fast Thorgrim. And there he goes. Alright, we'll leave the cleanup to the hammerers and our single entities on this bridge as we bonk those poor plague priests apart, and Thorgrim chases after the enemy assassin, outrunning the enemy rats. They're going to block him a little bit and slow him down a little bit with that net, but I fear it's not going to be enough, especially if Thorgrim chooses to bonk them on occasion. Ooh, they might force him to engage though, which is a little bit annoying. And he's back in it. And there we go. Use the mass to push through those rats. I just want him to chase down that assassin because it amuses me. You can't escape fast Thorgrim, little rat. And the units are blocking you. And nearly there, and there we go. Thorgrim is hot on your heels, and down goes the assassin and all the little rats that were around him. Beautiful. Anyway, how are we doing across that bridge there? A unit of clan rat spears is still holding. It looks like the plague monks having killed 2 rat. Oh, sorry about the camera work here. The bridge and the settlements make wonky camera work. It just keeps bouncing around for apparently no reason. But what can you do? Anyway, it looks like the clan rats will break. The balance of power is at about 90% in our favor. Our flying units are still moving around. And ooh, Thorgrim has found another unit of plague monks and has decided to summon a unit of ancestral shield bearers. There we go. I mean, he needs more shield bearers. Maybe it was the ghosts that have been secretly carrying the throne as well, and thus speeding it up. It's not really just 4 shield bearers carrying it, giving him that speed, but in reality there's like a dozen ghostly shield bearers pushing him along as well. But I do like the ability to summon these guys now. It's gonna come in handy, especially since we like to send Thorgrim out to do crazy fast dwarf things. And it sounds like don't get me wrong, the single unit of Plague Monks is really no threat to him. Even without the healing that he once had, they're really no threat to him. I mean, he has no healing, but he's lost, through all that, he has lost 56 HP through the course of the entire battle. And he's been right in the thick of the fighting, so... I mean, you gotta get through 121 melee defense and 161 armor to dish out any damage to him, and that's not even counting all of the ward save and physical resistances that he has as well. Anyway, there we go with that. Thorgrim is defeated, the last of the Plague Monks on the field, and the battle is ours. Alrighty, there we go. Very nice. Got to see those ancestral shield breakers play around. 1.4k damage on the Thorgrim's Thundercloud once again. The Thunder Barge being very nasty in terms of pretty much fighting anything. Glorious unit. Thorgrim, 20,000 kills, 338 kills, 20,000 damage, rather, and pretty darn solid at that. And now that he has those ancestral shield bearers around, he can use his speed to sort of move towards the enemy army, and if he gets in trouble, he can summon those ancestral shield bearers in an emergency. I love it. Anyway, we are going to occupy Nagashazar for obvious reasons, and we can... Oh, it was in tier 5. Oh, that's disappointing. I was hoping to immediately be able to upgrade it to tier 5 to immediately be able to build the Great Halls of Nagashazar, but, well, without that, it's probably going to take too long. Oh, well, what can you do? Delete? I really thought that it was going to be a tier 5. I guess I'm just too used to Clan Carrion and the fact that they would normally have it at a higher tier. But oh well, all good, not a big deal. We should build Goral Mine, and then we should build the Iron Mining Pit, Scrat Mine, whatever, and Mecha Zungor here. And there we are. Enemy killed in battle. This faction will be destroyed next turn. Berserker Sword, Stone Mason Province captured / secured. Cripple Peak. There we go. After all that warring between the undead and the Skaven, Cripple Peak ends up in the hands of the Dowie instead. Now, let us see, or let us... Okay, there's a... Ooh... That's interesting. Wasn't expecting these guys to move down here. Okay, we may need to react to that. And these places aren't well defended. I mean, they're well defended enough probably to fight a Skaven army. You're recruiting here already. And we might have to use one of you guys to global... Oh wait, but the global recruitment is taken as well. Well, you know, just sit there. I think you can take one army. Sorry about that, started losing my voice suddenly. And does a number on the old vocal cords when we do a longer episode. Oh, also new tech. We'll ignore Way of the Clans for now, because, I don't know. What we will want to do is this, though. All of these techs. Oh, this is going to take 2 turns? Really? But it was one of the starting techs. What the heck? Base research cost 600? 600. You're telling me that at the start, when we had 100 research rate, this one tech would have taken 6 turns to do? It's kind of surprising. Well, either way, I want the bonus range on all of these anyway, so that that hasn't changed. So go through that. Maybe the Tech Thieves can help out with a little bit. Oh, Tech Thieves. Also, who's Gilbert Furrowbrow again? And, oh, you're the thing that's supposed to go into this army. Yeah, fine, fair enough, go into this army. We also got a Runesmith for this army, which is out here. And we'll need engineers, but we'll need engineers in like a dozen armies, so yeah, and... Ooh, we got an innovator. I wish I remembered where I wanted to put you. I feel like I was looking for an innovator. Oh, right, I was looking for one for Malachi. Yes, because he needs... Where is Malachi? Seth Royale, what are you doing? Why are you... okay, just stop it. You cannot catch him, right? That's fine. Just move towards him, Malachi. Your guy is a entrenched guy. Alright, so we'll get the innovator guy here. And that's perfect. That's the 2 engineers you absolutely, positively do need. I'm probably gonna have to remove the Thane from his army, but it is what it is. Because I don't think we can remove anything else unless we want to lose 2 Slayer Pirates, and I'm not sure that I want to do that. We should have a Slayer Pirate heavy army. Ooh, also, okay, where is our capital? So Karaz-a-Karak, you're going to be completed tier 5 next turn, meaning we now can get rid of the Baker's Guild Hall. And is there anything else that we want to get rid of? One thing will be replaced by the Throne of the High King. More control faction-wide, income from all buildings faction-wide. Clearly, we need more income. We're only making 200,000 gold per turn, guys. Come on. Potentially it would be nice to have the hangar, but at the same time, if we have the Throne of the High King, hangar will give us the ability to build all the engineers and stuff here. I was also tempted by the Builders Guild. Oh, wait, no, we gotta build one of the shrines, specifically the Grugny Shrine, because of the upkeep reduction. Huh. And then we would have no room for the hangar unless we were to replace it by something. I still find it very silly that the Karaz-a-Karak airfield does not actually allow you to produce the gyrocopters and bombers in this particular territory, because otherwise then we wouldn't need it, but clearly we do. We could take out the feast hall. It's not like this place will ever need control because it's plus 40, so it's an insane amount. You know, I'll think about it. We might replace it later, or I might not bother. Anyway, we'll deal with that as it comes. I also wanted to check something. You are at 106 upkeep. Huh. Odd. That's odd. Somebody remember that number. Because these guys should be reducing in upkeep essentially every turn, because as we keep building deeps buildings, well, every single one of them offers a reduction in upkeep reduction faction-wide, but these guys used to be 97 upkeep while traveling, and now they cost more? Why would they cost more? Is there something that's increasing our... Because we got a lot of upkeep reduction deep structures. 218, 220. Did anything actually get cheaper? Huh. I have to keep an eye on that. I would have thought that the various buildings and stuff would have gotten cheaper over time, but it doesn't feel like they have. At least not to me, at least not right now. Anyway, ooh, hello, we actually have an army here for Grimly to fight, and ooh, he can actually reach it. Well, isn't that lovely? Oh, it's not so lovely because it's not an army worth fighting. Grimly, go kill it. How dare you bring this pathetic force before Grimly. Oh, speaking of Grimly, your new Longbeards can get a name. Before I forget, really? Medium casualties for this? How do you figure? Let's see. This is the Rune of Seeking. We'll pop it on you on the regular-sized crossbows, and the overcompensating quarrels can have the Rune of Penetration. Fantastic. I love it. We need I think we'll put the Master Rune of Murderous Artillery on the on Dalnola, as I don't remember the actual name of the room. There's a big master rune that increases their missile strength by like 20% or something along those lines. I think we'll do that. Alrighty, anyway, before you do that, I would just like you to name this Longbeard, because I will otherwise forget that we need more Longbeard names. We actually have surprisingly few Quarreler names. Nobody wants to name the Quarrelers. A little boring for you, eh? But we do have a fair few of them. And Rangers with the crossbows as well. As for you guys, you can be Asgaraz. Like so. And I'm not going to bother leveling right now. Let's just auto-resolve this. It's going to damage our army because the game is going to be silly today. But you know what? We had such fantastic fights throughout this episode, I don't care. Goodbye. Alright, Brewmaster and Dragonbane Gem, we don't need. Mountains of Hell. Let's also pop in the High King's Tribute immediately. And too bad we couldn't upgrade you immediately to tier 5, but let's upgrade or start with the Forbidden Citadel and move on. We're actually doing fairly okay in terms of the Age of Reckoning. Granted, we got a bonus 10,000-ish from that one fight against Bok the Lethal, plus the legendary grudge that we did, so there's a few bonuses. Huh. Maybe we'll be able to make it, who knows? We'll see. The only problem is some of this stuff is gonna peter out, because, like, look at this, it's all worthless. It's all worthless. Frickin' Sylvania. Man, and we also have to protect the place. Okay, so I guess what we're gonna do then is we're gonna send Ungrim this way. We'll use Elmador and his army to essentially protect Oakenhammer. Like so. I was gonna transfer some of these Slayer pirates to this army as well. And then you are going to meet up by moving over here to transfer Giragrim, but again, in a little bit. Anyway, let's do it in order. Joseph of Zorn, you had a fantastic fight, and we will, you know what, keep all the military structures here for now. Actually, can you even move? Because if you kill this guy, Ulmer Zubissendorf will then move into Fortress of Vorag. There's no breaches in the walls, but he would have siege attacker from the Vargulf, and who knows, there could be another army around. Huh. Maybe we have to wait until the... until these guys are healed. I mean, I got a 35% of their HP. That might be sufficient, depending on how many armies attacks. Maybe we should risk it. Just go for the Tower of Bloody Tooth. The Bloody Tooth, sorry. Alrighty, and we'll occupy auto-resolve this, because they have no chance here. It'll damage us, but probably not enough for us to be concerned about. And occupy. Alright, and let's see, do we got range of another army? I don't see one. Oh, would you look at that? Thunder Guts. I mean, we weren't looking to actually take any of these territories. In fact, even this territory, I don't like the hills and all that. This is probably going to be the edge of our territory, so most likely we should probably start walling everything up, making this essentially a military province. Though, funnily enough, because of the Tower of Bloody Tooth as well as some of the other stuff, this is actually a fairly strong province. In terms of potential money-making. Also, we do not have any pottery anywhere else, I think. This might be our only source. Meaning it was worth getting this just for the pottery, if nothing else. I know we don't have medicinal plants either. I wonder if there's any source nearby. We don't have petroleum, medicinal plants. We now have pottery. Oh, there's medicinal plants, but we're not going to keep that. And I think there's one more trade good that we're missing, but I don't remember what it is. And yes, I'm aware that you can check via the diplomacy screen. I'm just too lazy to do so. Elfar Norgerling, you're fine as you are for one more turn. Then you can deliver Mr. Garagrim. Braunhammer. Oh! Shouldn't we have gotten the... We got the debuffs from the Whispers, and then we promptly didn't get the buffs following them? Better not be screwing us on this game. And, ooh, you can actually reach Krakadordan? Oh, wow, you could travel far. I mean, you're a Gromby. Makes sense. And ooh, we've got the garrison plus the defenders. And hey, if it isn't those chaos trolls and those dragon ogres and all that stuff. Will they sally out? We're gonna give them a chance to, because it would probably be boring to just obliterate them from a distance. Well, it would be boring to obliterate them from a distance over the walls. Let's give them a chance to sally out and attack us. That's Gromby, rear guards. You can be ignored for now until you reach rank, I believe, 15. Thorek, you've gotten Gulgrog's Monolith, and while the Slaneshi haven't attacked us, you should probably move out towards Grungrut's Monolith. It is defended, though. A little bit wary of Tzeentch attacking you. I'm almost tempted to just... spend the turn healing, just in case. We did auto-resolve, and you are still missing a unit. I wonder if we could build you a, wait. Can't globally recruit. We could get you a Quarler, just because we can. Yeah, sure, get you a Quarler. Why not? Get you another one of these guys. Temporarily, and then we'll get rid of it later. I don't think anything else out of here would work with you. I don't think Thorek would say no to a drum. It's just that, as you can clearly see, the Western provinces don't have access to it. Oh man, it's Manfred's campaign all over again. I kept hoping for those rotting leviathans in the late game, but anyway, you were supposed to meet up with Thorgrim. I guess you're gonna go here, and it's all plagueinated. I would really prefer it if the monstrously annoying Skaven plague doesn't hit you, or Thorgrim. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. Alright, that was Vikram Berdrick. Gotri Holdfast. Holdfast, sir. Brugard Draxlayer. You are awaiting Slayer Pirates, which we can either deliver to you or we can build via global recruitment once it's free. Who else needs to move? Okay, I was confused by the menu there for a second. Callan Heldar, you're waiting because we don't want to lose your Quarlers. King Azrael. I mean, we could have you cause a little bit of havoc. I mean, it's still fighting undead, even if it isn't the Silver Pinnacle undead, so I think maybe we'll still move out here. Alright, travel this way. We'll pop this engineer into your army. Oh, we do have to transfer the flame cannons to you anyway, so it's probably a good move to move out here. Oh, and we have to transfer the Frostworm to your army. Yeah, okay, it's fine that we moved over here. We'll start here. Maybe have them take Castle Drakenhof and send Ungrim down into the lowlands. Mostly after we've taken out the rats, that we still need to deal with them. Anyway, who's still left this turn? We've moved Thorek, we've moved Mr. Holdfast, or we've told him to hold fast, as we do. We've got Grotbaruk, who needs to keep recruiting. Oh, I wanted to check something with you. Do we have that Uragan gun access? I don't see it here. Escort? No Uragan guns. Orthodoxy. Okay, what the heck is going on? I'm 100% sure I saw Orthodoxy armies using Uragan guns. Yeah, there's one right there. Sorry, Uragan cannons. I really wanted to try these out because they're newly added Kislevite, and you've got two of them as well. Game. Don't do this to me. And you've got... Okay, these guys can clearly build them. Every single army has one. And we don't seem to have the ability to recruit them, but we have access to global recruitment, don't we? In another campaign, I remember I wasn't able to recruit Medusa at all, and... Yeah, we have access to global recruitment, don't we? Tier 2 provides it. Unless I'm crazy. Okay, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm crazy. Let's see. Outpost. Okay, where's the second level outpost? Who has a second? Don't tell me nobody. Okay, you. Yeah, provides allied recruitment from a selection of units from global recruitment. Selection of units. I had never read that. Huh. Maybe it doesn't let you have access to all of their units? Is that the case? Anybody know? That'd be really disappointing if that is the case. I'm not. Anyway, tech thief. Okay, you know what? Let's move you. I was hoping to reduce the time to get the next tech anyway. Yeah, free dwarf and tattooist. Gyrocopter actually makes you cheaper, funnily enough, as odd as that may seem. And then you can steal take care of Karaz-a-Karak. Alrighty. What else are we looking at? Brock Iron Pick. You can keep advancing. All those rats are heavily damaged. Karak Norn. Pretty much everything here is destroyed. I guess just occupy it. I wonder if they'll besiege us next turn. Would have been actually nice to chase these guys down. We could maybe sack it and then move to chase them down, couldn't we? It's not like it's a high-tier settlement anyway. Grimhold barely has enough... yeah, you know what? Maybe that's the way to do it. So you can do this. We're going to quick save. We're going to sack the place. Hopefully it doesn't cause too much damage to our army, because we want to hunt those guys down. Auto resolve, insignificant damage. Don't really care for the Wailing Banner. We will sack. Regardless of the province instability cost, and we'll stop moving you. Okay, then you're going to chase down these rats, who shouldn't, in theory, be able to run. Like so. We'll quick save because we can't trust the game, and I guess we can put the banner on you nonetheless. Maybe on the arm breakers. Probably a solid thing to have on the tip of the spear, as it were. And to resolve. Let's see if we got a decent amount of oath gold from that. 50. Alright, speaking of oath gold, we should probably spend some. Alright, let's then send you back to retake Karak Norn, key dwarf settlement and all that. Hey, and it didn't even crash. Alright, delete this, repair this. We can upgrade you first then. Oh, wait, actually, we don't upgrade you. It won't matter. Like, it's not like we can go straight from tier 1 to tier 5, so yeah, it doesn't matter. Alright, let's just build what we can and move on to Khazad Grimaz. These guys now have 1 territory remaining, just the 1. Beautiful. This will put us in range of the Wood Elves, but that was always going to happen. We're also going to have to bounce back towards the Ogres here. They don't like us very much, and they do have tunneling stance available to them as well. You're losing public order. We might actually have to fight a... Oh, right, I was going to fight a quest battle. Alright, we'll fight it next episode. I don't think we have time now. And Grimbrindle's busy, so yeah. What I would like to do, though, is this, the Forge. We need to inscribe the banner runes so we can actually apply them to all of our armies. So let's do that right now. Inscribe. You know what? This is kind of a waste of time. I'll do that between the episodes. I'll just inscribe all of those. Strolla's rune. Oh, this is a non-character rune. It's a banner rune. I was like, wait, another 40% speed for Thorgrim and Vanguard deployment? It's a shame that this can't be given to characters. Thorgrim should count both as a character and as a unit that can carry a banner. Oh wait, but then I guess that would have replaced the Banner of Swiftness. Well, he has 4 guys, drop their shields, 4 shield bearers, drop their shields, each one holds a banner aloft instead. Everyone with more speed. Anyway, I guess we'll just keep on moving then. Gautry, hold fast, you're good, and rearguard Callan Helldauer. Actually, it doesn't look like there's too much in the way of moves left. Oh, you know what? You're going to have to back away to from Alimento and to Grung-Iki again. Ikri, sorry. Not Iki, or is it? You now can't move because of the presence of the undead here nearby. These guys will probably declare war on us shortly as well. And we need to get ready for the fight here. And make those armies into, you know, proper armies. Anyway, folks, I think... Let's see. Oh, wait, Belgar can still move. I lied. Alright, but you can just auto-resolve Iron Rock, can't you? Oh, Well, actually, it doesn't have a too bad of stuff in it. It's not an unwalled settlement battle. Would be an actual fight, would it not? Pyrrhic victory. Like the sound of that. We can auto-resolve it, but Pyrrhic victory still sounds like a battle worth fighting. So I think we'll fight it. Quick save it, and fight.
Vengeance calls!
Alrighty, here we go. One last little fight for Belegar this episode, and this time we're actually going to take advantage of the fact that our army can Vanguard deploy to take up a really nice position on this battlefield. Rather than deploy, which was out here, we Vanguard deployed to where we can use these cliff sides and this create essentially a small choke point on this map. Between the miners chucking the blasting charges into the choke points and the fact that we have the ghost pals to hold the line, plus of course the various units of Bugman's Rangers, I think we'll be just fine. Alrighty. Man, I feel like it would be so easy to add Bugman as just even a pseudo-legendary lord. You don't even have to make him like a full legendary lord. Just, I don't know, make it so that he gives liquid fortification to every unit in his army. That's his trait. That's it. That's all you have to do. And you're good. Obviously, you can make him a proper lord and stuff like that. I mean, if you just want to do it really quick, it's just because the trait is already one that's existing, so it would be, I don't know, it feels like it would be child's play to mod a regular lord or a guildmaster or whatever to have that trait. But anyway, not a big deal. Here we go. The enemy army is arrayed against us, not really doing anything so far because I fear they can do nothing so far. They don't have any artillery pieces. And we're just going to annoy them a little bit with our bolt thrower fire until they're ready to move towards us. Once again, really nice positioning we've got up here, so they don't really have a prayer in actually moving towards our bolt throwers, other than going around the entirety of the army. Speaking of the bolt throwers, we got 3 of them, and we got 3 different targets. Enemy Lord and 2 units of enemy trolls. These guys do work pretty darn nice at sniping. And, oh wow, 2 big old ballista bolts blocked by that shield. 3, 4. That's nice, I like it. I mean, the orc probably has the strength and the armor of that shield is probably thick enough to block a ballista bolt. I can see that happening. Alrighty, but the orc war boss is not having a good time at all. Neither are his trolls, for that matter, as the bolt throwers continue to snipe them. He had that little tree for cover, but it looks like that wasn't enough as well, and he will be brought down. Similar thing for the trolls. These guys are down to half HP and on fire, which trolls famously don't like. And the other unit is in pretty bad shape as well. Finally, the enemy's first units move close enough for us to begin to fire upon them, as the Bugman's Rangers, and I guess the regular Rangers as well, engage in their shootout. But that's a shootout that's very, very much in our favor. That said, the Gobos taking hits, taking arrows to the face while allowing the Black Orcs and the Biggins to close actually does to some degree work in favor of the enemy, so good for them. I'm going to pop that ballistics calibration with our Ghostly Engineer and get ready for the enemy army to move. Does look like they should have sufficient numbers here to actually charge forth. Here come the miners with blasting charges. And at least the regular orc boys should be suffering quite a bit. The boar boys, the black orcs, the biggins, a little bit less so due to all their armor and resistances. Alright, and Belegar waiting right in the center of the line. Of course, the enemy's lord is no longer with us, so we're not going to have to duel him, but that's alright. Boar boy tries to charge in, but gets taken care of by one of the Thanes before he even manages to reach Belegar. And come on, you gotta be worthy to actually fight Belegar here. Although I think he's been a little bit embarrassed by his inability to take 8 peaks and having the High King do it for him, but hey, that's why he was willing to confederate Angrund and throw in with the High King. Anyway, time for the regular fighting to be joined as the enemy army arrives, and we do our best to hold them back. Not a lot of blasting charges flying in. anymore, surprisingly, considering the sheer number of enemy troops fighting under there, but it's not like we're super reliant on it either, especially considering all the Bugman's Rangers firing down upon the enemy below. And the enemy behind them as well, as we can see. There we go, there's the blasting charges. As we can see, the enemy range units are having a pretty bad time. It's not like the melee units are having a good time either. Alright, beautiful. That will clear off another set of enemy orc boys. Black orcs are in the midst of the fight as well, but are being held off by our single unit of Iron Breakers, which once again might or might not be replaced by a unit of Everguard. I like the fact that if we keep the miners with blasting charges in this army, that they're led by a unit of Iron Breakers, so it's more essentially blasting charges. Certainly something to think about. And anyway, looks like the enemy does manage to get around us a little bit, and a unit of Boar Boys finally managed to loop around. We're going to pop the, not the Master Rune of Speed on these guys, that was for everybody else. But it looks like the Boar Boys will get seen off pretty darn quickly by a set of blasting charges. And frankly, it looks like the entire enemy army will be seen off fairly quick, as with the sort of loop around, the flanking maneuver of the Boars having failed, the rest of the enemy army has given up, knowing that they have no hope of breaking through the choke point and getting through those Iron Breakers, or through Belegar and his Ghost Thanes. Lovely. 91 melee defense on the Iron Breakers, 135 armor, kind of echoing the extremely heavy defenses that Belegar himself has. Interesting that he has the directional shield. Thorgrim, being a much bigger target, might have been, might be able to use that more, but I guess the throne has more vulnerabilities, I suppose, than just the one dwarf encased in thick armor. Anyway, a lovely little fight, close victory. Not really, but sure, I guess we did expend some ammunition. Alright, there we go. Nice little fight. Tons of damage on the Bugmans, who are certainly starting to rack up that XP, and plenty of damage once again on the miners with blasting charges. Still working out in this army. Not doing a lot of running and gunning yet, but that may change over the course of the next few fights, and depending on which particular foes we start facing off against. Anyway, close victory and occupy the place, and with that we secure Iron Rock, which we shouldn't upgrade because we'll be able to upgrade all of them to tier 5 immediately. So we'll get rid of the clan barracks here. You know what, I'm just going to hope that the place doesn't get attacked, or both places don't get attacked. We should build the iron mining pit, however, and trading the scrat mine. And then you actually won't have room for a trading depot because you will have to build the magma caverns as well, but they will generate a ton of cash, especially once we have more stuff. Anyway, a nice fight. 3 more settlements to go before we can move on towards Barrack-Var and reclaim it. In the 14 turns that we have, we should be able to manage to pull that one off before the Age of Reckoning. We're at 50%, halfway there. Living on a prayer. 43,000, pretty darn good so far. Anyway, I started doing things out of order again. I'm no longer sure who needs to move and who doesn't. You, unfortunately, won't be able to take care of Karaz without help, so... Wait, where's the gun army? You're here, but you can't move, so we'll have to have you jump over the mountains and head towards Karaz. I guess you're just going to have to sit here for now, then. Alright, and just sit pretty. Bone Giant and Ushabti with Great Bows. Yeah, you're not... Yeah, no. Too much artillery and stuff in the enemy army. So sit there, Old as Helheim, similarly. Yori get gold. You're gonna have to watch where the ogres go, aren't you? Let's sit in Grimhold for now. And... what the heck? Okay, the game started freaking out about that move. Yeah. I mean, frankly, if you guys get intercepted, nothing bad will happen, but both of you together should probably move down towards the ogres. Ideally with Joseph Bugman eventually, but we don't have him available yet, or at least won't, until we get his army built. Anyway, anybody else need to move? Yori, I just checked. Kazra and Grimbar. Okay, yeah, you're stuck where you are. At least for now, because of the war declaration from Kemler. I think we saw a full stack there, so Stochel should probably move to Kaza de Weirworm. And it's got some okay stuff, but it's probably not enough. Yeah, the Kemmler thing is going to definitely cause some problems. He might even be able to take a territory or two, but we'll get it back, I'm sure, if we do lose them. You, Morgus Death Dealer, still need those heroes and whatever else, but for now, you're going to move towards Crossed Club's camp. And oh, are these guys going to attack us? Aha, they have besieged us and thereby stopped us from recruiting. But this isn't even worth fighting. Not a resolve, and I didn't quick save, and don't tell me this is the one time it crashes. Okay, it very well could have been. And I assume that these guys will be built, and we don't have to redo that. Another army is on the way. Would you please just declare war on these guys now? Join war against Red Maw. Specifically these guys down here. Okay, what if we join your war against Dimmed Suns? And give you 30,000 gold. Well, not right now, although eventually we'll probably be so rich we'll be able to ply our allies with gold, and then this will make it easier for them to defend themselves without us, you know, doing all the work on the campaign. It's a pretty big campaign map, and it would probably be more advantageous to have our allies be capable of taking care of themselves. Anyway, I'm gonna get a couple of organ guns. I was hoping to keep it to 4 organ guns and get some Urugan cannons, but alas, let's also get you a couple of engineers and just keep on recruiting while you're here. I think that's all of everybody that needs to move right now, unless I'm mistaken. We do have various battles that are sort of on the way when we end the turn, but I think we're probably not going to do that right now. Oh, we haven't actually done the building, have we? Deeps. Okay, so we'll definitely need to upgrade you. Yeah, we've been building these things everywhere. They're purpose guild foundries. That's a 2%, and then we get another 1% upkeep reduction from all of these, and I'm not seeing a big difference in the reductions. Maybe it's just me, though. Maybe they're at the right cost, and I'm crazy. I'm not so sure. Oh well, anyway, we don't need to build anything here or there, at least not yet. We're going to put to the deep structures there later on. Let's upgrade the Deep Grung and Kingsway. Definitely go for the Dwarf Keep. Alright, East Death Pass. Ooh, wait, did we get our first... Okay, no, let's do this first. Alright. You... Okay, now you don't need to build anything. Iron Peaks, what about you? What do we have here? Nothing to be building. We got our first Magma Caverns. I guess it was just completed. Magic item drop chance from battle plus 10% faction-wide. All characters experience gain increase and improves the rarity of items gained from battle faction-wide. I don't know how that works exactly, or whether it does work. Let's just hope that it does. Anyway, you can build a trading depot. West Mad Dog Pass, yeah, another place where we can build another Deeps. I was hoping to only need as... Ooh, you can be upgraded. Nice, Caracate Peaks, Dwarf Hold. I was hoping to only need to build as many Deeps as it would take to make our upkeep reductions drop to basically nothing. But, oh, I never upgraded you, whoops. But I don't know whether it's actually functional or not. I guess we'll see as we keep on going. Cracker Ravensvok, yes, keep upgrading. We'll need the actual, you know, Ravensvok place itself to be upgraded as a priority, but eventually only. You're fine as you are. Grom Ridge, let's see what we got. Let's upgrade Rib Peaks. And, okay, we got nothing to be building there, at least not right now. What about Mount Silver Spear? Still nothing. Saving space for more of those, what were they called? Magma Caverns? Unstable Magma Caverns? Somewhat stable Magma Caverns? Somewhat stable YouTubers. Anyway, Grim Kadrin, you are going to... We deleted something in order to replace it with something else. It's a decent place for a Deeps location as well. Is a main settlement so we can build more stuff. Yeah, fine. We'll build the Great Gate here. We can... actually, there's probably a few more that we can build this very turn, which we should probably take advantage of. This place is kind of exposed, but once we take these territories... You know what? I think it's time. I was wondering whether we'd ever bother with doing this, but... Gelt, we need the vision that you're offering, because I want to see what the heck is going on here in the Badlands. And also by doing that, I lost my place in terms of the order of these settlements, but, well, what can you do? Let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah, the Circle of Sun, as long as you don't have Ekrund, we're fine. He's not actually doing all that well, admittedly. I mean, it's turn 87, he's got 4 territories. We've got, what, 146 on turn 87. Not too bad. We did outpace that thing that was giving us money depending on the amount of territories compared to the number of turns that we had a fairly long time ago. Anyway, we did Grimfang. I think we just did it right now. Meaning we can go to Desolation of Nagash and see what we got going on here. Nothing. River and Dipavan. We are going to upgrade this Thorshafen. And this is a northern thing. And okay, so yeah, we are building the Ragni Shrine here. But it is going to take a while. Fair enough. Let's build the Scrat Mine, Wolf Edge. Wait, did we have a Deeps there? We did not. Oh, I should replace something with Deeps here. We'll replace the Ranger Barracks once we... Yeah, just do it right now. It's kind of a waste of space there. And we have better places to put it in rather than a main territory. Anyway, you can be upgraded. Uzai Camp, we are still likely to get into a war with the Greenskins here, but you know what, let's upgrade this. Just in case they come for us. Karak, yeah, you can keep the Feast Hall, mostly because I don't think that... Oh. We are not going to upgrade you, though, because we want to upgrade you to level 5. Mostly because I don't think that we will be getting any adjacency bonuses from there. Zufbar, lose the clan barracks, and I guess we could upgrade you to the 1st level. If nothing else, not like we captured you to high level. I'm surprised that we don't have any kind of landmark at Zufbar, but maybe it would be too close to all the other landmarks, so yeah, anyway. Goral Mine here, we got an engineering thing here. You can keep the Feast Hall because there isn't enough engineering capacity. And this could potentially be another place for a Deeps. Yeah, fine, build a Deeps. Alright, what else do we have here? Thunderhoof Camp, Mount Crag. I mean, yeah, we'll have adjacency bonuses here, but this might be a Deeps location. Potentially. Shouldn't be upgrading this because we'll want to upgrade Karak. Oh, it wouldn't work anyway. I mean, we'd still be able to get it up to tier 4, so, man, that's something, but for now. It's fine. Svedora and Xarla. You are going to be traded to our allies, but that does mean we should probably build more military structures here to make sure that you're worth as much as possible to same set allies. Let's do, I don't know, Rangers thing, doesn't really matter which thing. There we go. Alrighty, and New Strigos, you are being kept, at least for now. But I don't think we can build anything. Well, we can upgrade the, we can build a Scrat Mine here if nothing else. Iron Rock, you will need to be upgraded, but only after Aldium, and I think most of the rest are just things. Okay, let's just take a quick look at them. Are we keeping the Horn? I think we're keeping the Horn, actually, so... collect income. We'll fix the public order rather quickly, so I don't think it matters. For its Scaehold will be traded to our allies, so we will give a sparring chamber to them to make it worth more. And Golgrog's Monolith. Yeah, we're keeping the place, keep the Karaz Ankor. We will be making this into a military province, however. So trading depots, I mean, it'll still get adjacency to this place, but it's not much. Oh! Huh. Golgi's Monument. These guys have taken it from the Slaneshi. I kind of don't like that, because I was going to take this territory for ourselves, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter over much. Anyway, since you're going to be a military territory, we will... Let's go for the Tinker's Den, and what capacities do we need more of? Probably the hangar. Rather than the Rune Lord's Hall. Admittedly, at tier 4, it will give us 40 Oath Gold per turn, and we're gonna still need a massive amount of Oath Gold. Karaz-a-Karak, which we just took, and we will want to upgrade you as well. And we will definitely want to build the Karaz Ankor here, because there is adjacency to be had, and what else are we missing? Trading depot, I guess? Probably want the Deeps here as well, but, you know, eventually later on. Dragon's Breath. Omdra's Lair. Do we actually upgrade you? I mean, I guess we do. I was wondering whether we'll actually keep the place, but I think right now, at least, we're keeping it. Monolith of Flesh, you know what? I'll just upgrade you to the next level. Oh. I mean, we're going to trade the place anyway, and Varg Camp, I was thinking maybe this place is held by Skaven, but obviously that's not the case. And there we go. Just build that so it doesn't show up every turn. Then, let us go, for example, to here. Wait, what does this want us to do? Oh, right. Okay, what does this want us to do? Let's build Deeps here. And Mortal Sold, although this is a very good money-generating province, but nonetheless, build the Deeps here. build the deeps here, because next turn it'll cause a lot of increased cost by the presence of this, plus 10%. Not that we can't afford it. Anyway, keep on building them, and there we go, we're at a high king decrees, so we'll need to either upgrade those or get the techs that give us additional high king decrees. Anyway, folks, with that, I think we are out of time, and I'm gonna have to call the episode here. We've done like 7, 8, whatever battles this particular episode, and if I end the turn, there will be another fight as we are besieging something somewhere with Mr. Grumbrindle. So I guess we'll end the turn at the start of next episode, presumably. And then Grumbrindle will get attacked by all of this. We'll see whether his troll hammer torpedoes will be enough to hold back the tide of monstrous units, which should be pretty fun. So stay tuned for it. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.